WHB, Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. We head up until 2 o'clock. Coming up an hour from now, we'll talk with Matt Lane, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. We will hang out at noon with Cody Goodwin, PowerMizzou.com. Get his thoughts on a huge matchup this weekend. One of the biggest matchups of the weekend. There are two high-level top 25 matchups. Mizzou is one of them, but playing at home to A&M. BYU, Texas Tech, the other huge matchup this weekend. So we'll talk with Cody Goodwin about the Mizzou side. Zollers, the freshman, going up against one of the best teams in America in Texas A&M. Talent-wise, we'll see if they are, maybe the best team in America. There are a lot of people that look at A&M's roster and say, they have NFL players at every single level. Like, we know A&M has been able to recruit, and we know now in the NIL era, they're able to pay a lot of money. That's why Texas Tech is in the position they're in. Honestly, it's probably why BYU is in the position they are in. By the way, quick aside for BYU, shout out to the fans. Like, we've talked about the Bills Mafia that has gone to different GoFundMes of, like, teams they're playing or players that they may go up against that have had something happen in their life, and they go and give a lot of money to that particular charity or the GoFundMe. BYU is getting ready to play Texas Tech, and I think the Texas Tech, one of their assistant coach's wife was involved in a bad car accident and didn't doing too well, and BYU fans have just gone and flooded the GoFundMe.
Awesome.
As they're getting ready to play Texas Tech. So it's, an aside of, like, there's some cool parts.
The good things in sports.
Of sports, rather than the yelling back and forth and saying how much people hate each other. But huge matchups this weekend, one involving the Big 12. I think if Texas Tech wins this game and Utah wins out, which is very possible, the Big 12 could have three teams in the college football playoff. Three teams in the college football playoff in the Big 12 where we say Texas Tech, BYU, and Utah, which 5 years ago is exactly what you would have expected, right? 5 years ago, you say, you know what, in 5 years, the 12-team playoff is going to be here, and the Big 12 is going to get three teams. Okay, so Texas, Oklahoma.
K-State,
Oklahoma State,
Yeah, Oklahoma State may have been
Baylor,
one of those names, yeah.
TCU. That's probably where I would go, right?
West Virginia.
Maybe West Virginia.
Geno Smith comes back.
Yeah, if Geno Smith, Pat White gets there, he comes back, brings back the Wildcat. Yeah, maybe. No, it's going to be Texas Tech. Okay, interesting. They must have scored 80 points per game. It's going to be BYU, and it's going to be Utah. Aren't they in the Pac-12? So, yeah, could get three teams, and two of those you never would have guessed would have been in the Big 12 5 years ago, and the first two teams you would have named aren't even in the same conference. So Texas and OU in the SEC. So we'll talk with Cody Goodwin coming up at noon, get his thoughts on this Missouri team, the chance they have to win against A&M. I know it's a home game, but the line is interesting to me. It's gone from 7, 6.5 at one point, 6. Now it's back to 7 for A&M. It's a home game for Mizzou. I get that. But you're looking at the third best team in America, according to the playoff committee, with NFL dudes all over the field going up against a true freshman quarterback in what will be his first start. And you're only a touchdown favorite. Tells me that Vegas obviously think this is going to be much closer than some people think. Obviously a touchdown, but it's going from 7 to 6.5.
Well, it opened at 5.5. It opened at 4.5, actually. So it's moved.
That's a soft open. That's the open is like, here it is. Let's see what the pros think. The pros were like, all right, I think this is going to be closer to a touchdown game.
Sure.
Once it got to 7, it is gone back and forth. 7, 6.5, 7, 6.5, 7, 6.5. And so it's like, all right, 7, we're going to bet it down. 6.5. Okay, now we get the hook. We can bet it up to 7. There's that middle ground between 6.5 and 7. You get the 6 3/4 win, you get the middle.
Well, it was at 7, and then Vegas heard that I was going to be there, and now it's going back towards Missouri because they go, There's no chance A&M can cover that with an absolute hooligan in the stands. And his boys are going too.
Oh, the boys are going.
Oh, man. Fall 11, fall 12.
Oh, yeah. Hamburglar's going to be there.
Wow.
Taco John's going to be hanging out with you guys.
Then we found out that it's alumni weekend and dad's weekend. Oh,
and dads are going to be there toasting too.
There is going to be so much testosterone.
Yeah.
And flowing throughout the stands.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter how much testosterone would be actually on the field with the players playing. That's immaterial,
when they hear the stands,
that makes sense.
Rocking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Furrow, insane.
Yeah.
Zollers is going to look up and say, we're doing it for that guy.
I hope Zollers furrows the hell out of the ball this weekend.
That's pretty good.
Against A&M.
Well, and
the line has gone from 6-7, 6-7.
A&M's dumb little celebrations.
7.
They're going to see that and say, we have to beat that team. You can't lose to a team that does those dumb celebrations.
The fake military kids.
Yes!
So we'll see. We'll talk with Cody Goodman coming up at noon. 1 o'clock, we'll play some sports or leisure.
Fact.
That's true. And we'll get into that coming up at 1 o'clock. 913-912-4810 is the text line to join us. 913-912-4810. Text line to be a part of the show, part of the conversation. So it is the bye week, and the bye week being this late in the season for the Chiefs. They've played 9 games. So halftime of the Bills was the exact halfway point. So they were at that point 5-3.5. 5.5, 3.5. Is that what they were? They are sitting 5-4 now. And so let's look at our mid-season where we thought they would be and where they are now. Okay? So Mick is not here with us, but that's fine because we did this on the Wednesday before the start of the season. I'm going to look at the record. If you guys remember what you had predictions, I have them in front of me. So if you don't remember what each game prediction was, I have them in front of me.
I don't remember. So
okay, great.
I might.
I have them in front of me.
I think Darcy's in the lead.
Darcy,
I don't.
Darcy through 9 games had him 12-0. That was odd. Through 9 games, somehow he had him winning 12 games. That was weird. But
we don't do math on this show.
Why would you? Why
We're a
would
bad
you?
math show.
Mick isn't here, but Mick was a part of this as well. So let's just see where we were, how far off we were, or close, and what we think of it now as to how they're in this position, okay? So, first of all, 3 of the 4 had the Chiefs sitting at 7-2 at the bye week.
Yeah.
3 of the 4 of us had 7-2. 1 of us had 6-3.
That was either Darcy or me. I can't remember who it was.
Darcy was 7-2.
Oh.
I was 7-2. Mick Schaefer was 7-2. Sterling had the Chiefs at 6-3 because he was a hater.
I am the closest.
You are the closest. So
I
let,
get
so let's-
lunch.
Right, but let's start here. Like this, but this is what I want to get into because Darcy and I went.
What games? I know at the Bills game.
All of us had them losing the Bills, which is interesting coming out of that game going, oh my God, sky is falling. It's the other games that we're talking about as
It's
to
why
why.
I didn't feel that
Yeah.
bad. I mean, I feel bad because the defensive line was, again, atrocious. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm not sitting here saying sky is falling, season's over because they lose to the Bills in Buffalo by 1 score. There are some underlying metrics that weren't great,
Right.
but I'm not going to be here screaming and yelling.
What's interesting is that out of the 4 of us, we all got the Bills, but of the other 3 losses, only 1 of us had even one of those games being a loss in the other 3 losses. And that was Mick Schaefer that picked the Chiefs to lose to the Eagles. We all had him beating the Chargers.
Yeah, I thought I had that.
3 or 4 of us had him beating the Eagles. We all had him beating Jacksonville. And we all had him losing to Buffalo. But the games you had them losing, Sterling.
Was it Ravens-Lions?
You had them losing the Ravens, you had them losing the Lions,
Yeah.
and you had them losing to the Bills. So let's start with you. You had them 6-3, they're 5-4. So your preseason expectation wasn't necessarily far off. It's one game where you look and go, boy, that's pretty random. Maybe it's that Jags game. That Jags game goes different wins and losses, but 6-3 is 6-3, where you thought they would be. So looking back at that, does that shape or color your opinion of where they are now sitting at 5-4, even though most of us are disappointed? Does it change the level of maybe disappointment for you, Sterling? And then Michael and I will get into our thoughts.
Slightly. Again, I think the Chargers game 1, was the wild card. Again, I told a whole bunch of
that was game 1. It wasn't the wild card game.
But for me, I tried telling people I wasn't going to take too much away from that because it is overseas, or I guess AC.
Underseas.
Underseas. You had the wonkiness of the bus ride and all that stuff. The Eagles game, I thought the Eagles and the Detroit game were kind of a coin flip, both of those. So I just said, well, okay, they'll beat the Eagles because of the belt to ass in the Super Bowl. So they'll come back and they'll probably lose to the Lions because the Lions are a great team. Those were just flip flop. The Jags were the wild card. I did not see that one coming at all. No, I am disappointed, but I'm not sitting here saying sky is falling just because right before the Bills game, we all sat here going, this is the best team in the NFL right now. They lose one game to the Bills on the road, who a lot of people think is the best team in the AFC, and all of a sudden,
done for 4 years in a row before Sunday.
And now all of a sudden we're just sitting here saying sky's falling. I think I've seen Fire Veach, I've seen Fire Andy,
Fire Mahomes. I mean, he didn't
fire all of them.
How can you possibly be excited or positive about this team moving forward when number 15 is your quarterback and he just had some troubles in the pocket on Sunday? Understandable because he was pressured a lot, but come on, you just can't trust that guy moving forward.
And then 5 days ago, we were sitting here, 6 days ago, sitting here saying that this is the best team in the NFL. And everything was great.
8 days ago, we played the sad comment haters.
Yeah, and so I'm just sitting back here. I'm disappointed in the defensive line. I think the offensive line has actually been pretty good. I think the offensive line, for the most part, has been better than I expected, with Josh Simmons being as good as he has. Jalen Moore has been inconsistent, but Kingsley Sumatia has taken a huge step forward. Creed Humphrey's still the best center in football. I think Trey Smith, outside of the back injury, which does have me a little worried, I think that Trey Smith has actually improved in pass pro, which was nice to see. Juwan Taylor, again, inconsistent, but when he's been on, I think the highs have actually outweighed some of the lows from the early parts of the season. So I think overall offensive line's been better, which was one of my main concerns. It's the defensive line that, again, I know we're going to get into a little more of the positional grouping that you and I were talking about. We'll get into that a little later on. But overall, 5-4, where they sit, I'm disappointed, but I'm going to have nuance, and I don't think this season is lost. They are slightly worse than I expected, but they've been worse in spots that I thought they weren't going to be this bad in.
If the crazy Jags game doesn't happen, they're exactly where you thought they would be, and they are one game away from where the rest of us thought they would be.
Correct.
At 7-2, they would be sitting 6-3.
It's why I'm not panicking.
Yeah, it's that Jags game is going to be the one to where, and there's typically one a year for Andy where you go, how did they lose that game? Last year was not that. You didn't come away with a, oh my God, how did they lose that game? They lost at Buffalo, and then they sat everybody and lost that game against Denver. There was not that. But typically every year there's a head scratcher. You go to Indianapolis, a team that's going to have a top 3 or 4 pick, and you lose to Matt Ryan. Like, how the hell did they lose that game? You lose on Christmas Day to the Raiders. They didn't complete a pass after the first quarter. How do you lose? You should win that game by 3 touchdowns. Instead, you lost. That's ridiculous. All right, Michael, you'll go next. You had them 7-2. The losses you had them suffering was Baltimore at home and on the road at Buffalo. They've obviously lost 2 more other games, all games you thought they would win, but they did win against Baltimore in that one. So your thoughts before the season heading into the bye thinking they'd be 7-2 versus now they're 2 games worse than what you thought. Does it change? You stay the same of what you sort of feel now getting ready for this last quote-unquote half of the season?
I definitely feel disappointed and let down to a certain extent because I thought that coming into this season, this was the best Chiefs team we'd seen in 4 or 5 years roster-wise. And, if I want to play the mental gymnastics game, if they had Xavier Worthy for the first 3 games of the season, maybe they don't end up losing, week 1 and week 2.
Maybe if they had Rice against Jacksonville, maybe they don't lose that game.
And maybe if the Ravens were healthy, and maybe if the Commanders had Jaden Daniels.
And if the Lions were healthy.
I thoroughly disagree with whenever people say that, and they always use it for their team and then disregard it for other teams. I push back. But injuries are part of the game. But it's the NFL.
But it could be to where Xavier Worthy changes 2 games while you lose another one if you're talking about everybody healthy.
Sure.
So if Xavier Worthy's healthy, Ravens are healthy, Lions are healthy, maybe you beat the Chargers and the Eagles, but you lose to the Lions or something like that. Now you're 6-3, but we don't know. We have no idea.
The NFL injuries happen.
But I still look at this team sitting at 5-4 at their bye and maybe this is a crazy hot take, I think they're a better team at their bye this year than they were last year. And so, obviously, they've got some kinks to work out. And listen, the time to win is now. There's no more pushing it back. You got to sweep Denver to win the division. You've got a fairly, I don't want to say easy schedule, but it opens up towards the end. If the Chiefs want to go on a run here, this is the perfect time. And so, yeah, it's not ideal that they're 5-4, and I don't think that any of us thought they were going to be this bad record-wise. But all things considered, if you look at the offense and how explosive they've been when they do win games, the defense most of the season outside of a couple blips, this team top to bottom is better than they were last year.
So last year at the bye week, they were 5-0. And they beat the Ravens by a toe. They beat the Bengals because the refs wanted them to win. They called pass interference. I don't care why it was 4th and 16. All I care about is the play that fits my narrative. They beat the Falcons because they didn't call pass interference. They beat the Chargers. I don't remember what. Rice got injured in that game.
Yeah.
So that was one of those where we came out of that game going, this sucks. Although there was like 3 weeks where we were like, Rashee Rice isn't injured as bad. Is he going to come back later this year? I think people took the Adam Schefter tweet and ran with it to a place that I don't even think he was trying to get people to go.
Yeah.
He just said it's not as bad as originally thought. People are like, oh, my God.
Like it's not Nick Chubb bad.
Right. And then it's like he's going to be out for the year. Whoa. Adam Schefter said it wasn't as bad as people thought. Yeah, it wasn't as bad as people thought. It could have been a lot worse. They were fearing it was a lot worse. But this Chiefs team was 5-0 at the bye week. Through their 9 games, they were 9-0. And they had beat the Bucs in overtime and blocked a field goal against the Broncos. They were 9-0 and viewed as the biggest fraud undefeated team we'd ever seen in the history of the sports world. Even NBA teams that might have been 9-0 were less fraudulent than the Chiefs.
No, I think the Steelers team was still the one that everyone looks at.
No. It
or
was
the
Chiefs
actually in 2015.
No. No. The last year's 9-0 team with Patrick Mahomes was more fraudulent than an undefeated team with Alex Smith. You stop it, Sterling. When I look at this team sitting 5-4 right now, and I thought they would be 7-2, I had them winning. I had them going 14-3. I still think they can get to 14-3.
Yeah.
Okay. But I had them going 14-3. I had them losing one more game the rest of the way. That was at Dallas on Thanksgiving. They could still lose that game at Dallas on Thanksgiving. Who knows if Dallas is playing for their entire season. It's a short week for the Chiefs. Dallas is used to playing that. Whatever.
They're like the movie Split, the Cowboys. You never know which version you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's Freaky Friday,
It's sometimes they look like a legitimate contender in the
Right.
NFC, and other times they look like they might be the Saints.
Is it a dry oil well or is it a glory hole? You never know what Dallas Cowboy you're going to get. Sometimes you come up empty. Sometimes glory hole.
You want you some glory hole.
Well, I think every Cowboy fan wants themselves some glory hole, especially Jarrah, So hopefully the Chiefs don't run into a glory hole in
I
Dallas
want me some glory hole.
on Thanksgiving. Save the neck for me, Clark. The Chiefs sitting 5-4. I'm with you guys. It's clearly disappointing. I find myself struggling because the Jacksonville game was screwy. Philadelphia had a play to where you go, I think Kelsey catches that, although this is the third time Travis Kelsey has now said, I need to get my head around quicker and my hands up. He even said that about the fourth down or the third down play before halftime against Buffalo. He said that in the podcast yesterday. I disagree with that. He was taking the blame. He's like, if I just get my head around quicker and my hands up. And Jason was like, That would have been a tough catch. Let's calm down there. His noise reaction of was sort of, calm down, Travis.
Yeah.
I know you like to put the blame on yourself whenever something doesn't go well and you're involved, but this ain't Philly and Jacksonville.
Yeah.
This ain't the or Philly and who was it against that was it Washington. This ain't Philly and Washington when the ball bounced off your hands for an interception. It's not that. I find myself sort of going back and forth of like they're 5-4, they're worse record than I thought they would be. Yet a good portion of what I've seen this year is what I expected them to look like. So I'm of two minds. Like, I'm disappointed in the record, but I'm not disappointed in what I've seen this year from the Chiefs, from what I thought they would be. I didn't think they'd be a great running team. I thought the offensive line would be better, and with Josh Simmons, it is. Even with Jalen Morrow's better than what they ended the season with. I didn't think they'd be able to rush the passer all of a sudden out of nowhere without blitzing, and that's been an issue. But I thought offensively would look closer to 2022 than we have seen since 2022. And we've seen that a number of weeks. Last week notwithstanding, no Worthy, no Rice for a few games notwithstanding. We have seen this team, from what we talked about when Rice comes back from suspension, I think this team will look like it did in 2022. And that's what's happened. They're not making the winning plays in those games they lost the way that they did last year in the Chargers game, Eagles game, and in the Jags game, obviously.
I would almost argue the running game has been better than we thought. I know it's hilarious to say, and it's not been great, it's not been good, but it's been better. I mean, because Kareem Hunt has done such a great job.
Pacheco looks better than what he did a year ago when he came back.
And again, I'm not saying they've been really good. I'm saying compared to expectations that I think we all had heading into the year, they've been fine. I think fine's the right word to put.
Yeah.
It's that defensive line that has really struggled. And I think a lot of it does start with Chris Jones. We all expected him to still be elite, and he has been merely good.
Yeah.
Not great, not outstanding, good.
Yeah, adequate. Not living up to the contract, but he's been adequate so far this year. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back, and we'll look at the positions and what we thought of those before the season versus what we've seen now. And CBS has their mid-season predictions in the playoffs. They have the Chiefs' divisional reign ending, and they've got them as a wild card. They have them as the 6th seed heading to Indianapolis, which is the 3. The Chargers are the 7 heading to Denver, which is the 2. And I do wonder, because, we'll find out a lot next Sunday heading to Denver, but also that whole Indianapolis thing on the road. Would you rather head to Indy or head to Denver before we see this Chiefs team play those two teams the next 2 weeks? We'll get into that as well. And the Chiefs, we are watching, and they are playing games that we haven't experienced in 4 years. We're going to do that as well. More Zone coming up next. I will continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. We head up until 2 o'clock. Coming up at 11 o'clock, Matt Lane, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast at noon. Cody Goodwin, Power Mizzou. 1 o'clock, Sports or Leisure. We'll hear from Travis Kelce, New Heights podcast that came out yesterday, weighing in on the loss to the Bills, and now sitting at the bye week with 8 games to play, 2 games behind the Broncos, and what the mindset is of this team. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. 913-912-4810. Let's talk about what we thought going into the season in these positional groups. So we'll start at the quarterback. And Michael and I listed the quarterback position as slightly better than a year ago. Sterling said it was the same. We discussed Gardner over Carson Wentz as being a slight upgrade. You looked at it and said, who gives a bleep? It's Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Which is totally fair. Totally, absolutely fair. What was the line for the Colts?
Yeah.
Why doesn't if 18 goes down, we're effed, and we don't practice effed.
Yes.
Hey, the quarterback position slightly better because of Gardner Minshew over Carson Wentz. So, is 15 slightly better? Or is 15 still 15? I think he's the same. Great. Quarterback position's the same. Totally get that. We all in agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Running back position. I said worse. I said better. You said slightly better. Michael, you said slightly better based on health of Pacheco. Slightly better. We didn't really believe much in it. The notes that I have here are just really about Pacheco health. That was kind of it.
Yeah.
And the unknown of, oddly enough, Elijah Mitchell.
And that has not transpired.
There is still an unknown of Elijah Mitchell, by the way.
At all. Yeah, Rashard Smith, I still think is a good pass catcher. I don't think so far what we've seen has not been the most inspiring on the ground from him. It doesn't look like the vision is totally there. Again, I think he was the guy that ran directly into Kingsley Suamataia and actually took him out of the game for a little bit because he ran into the back of Kingsley. I think Kareem Hunt's been better even than I expected on fourth downs
Especially
and third downs. And
I
I think he's actually shown more juice than I expected to. You see yards per carry of 4. I think it's not telling the full story because a lot of those runs are designed to only get 1 to 2 yards. So I think it's a little unfair to only look at Kareem and say, well, he's only averaging 4 yards a carry. He's averaging 4 yards a carry while a lot of those runs, they're meant for 2.
Yeah.
They're meant for 1. So what's he doing on the other downs? He's getting you 6, 7. Stop. No.
You said it.
I didn't mean it that way.
You totally meant it that way.
But
Stop saying
he's
it.
popped off a 33-yarder this year. He has a long of 33. Isaiah Pacheco's long as 16. I've been impressed with Kareem Hunt so far this year.
I've been impressed in the fact that it's the short yardage success rate that they've had. I think it's slightly better, but not necessarily impressive.
No,
That's just
I'm not saying impressive.
yeah.
I'm not saying
Just
impressive.
the-
I'm saying I've been impressed, though, with Kareem Hunt.
Yeah. I became less impressed when Mitchell Schwartz put out the first play of the game video that he talked about. Did you guys see the breakdown from Mitchell in the first play of the game?
I did not.
Which was a Kareem Hunt 3-yard run. And the notes that I had was, good God, Juwan Taylor just got blown up by the defensive end, and Kareem Hunt picks up 3 yards, and it could have been a bigger gain if it wasn't for Juwan Taylor. And Mitchell Schwartz has a breakdown and says, this is the disconnect of the Chiefs' running game. He's like, and I'm not sure why this is. The play is the outside zone. Kareem Hunt gets the ball heading towards Juwan Taylor, and he's focusing on Juwan Taylor and Travis Kelce. And Kelce down blocks the defensive end and knocks him inside of Juwan Taylor. And Juwan Taylor rides him that way. Kelce then sprints to the linebacker and gets a seal on the linebacker. And Mitchell Schwartz is like, this is amazing by Kelce. Like, this is really good work by Travis Kelce. And he said the running back's first indication and read is the tackle and the tight end. And you need to go outside the tackle. As soon as you see the defensive end inside, You are sprinting outside because you know the linebacker is up to the next level and the defensive end is gone. So this is an easy read for running backs. This is the first read, boom. And he goes, for whatever reason, Kareem cuts it up right into the defender. And as he's getting tackled, Kelsey is blocking the linebacker, the safety, whoever it was, and as Kareem's getting tackled, he goes, look at Travis Kelsey. Kelsey looks at him, goes, like arms in the air, goes, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened? Because Kelsey in his mind is going, hell yeah, exactly what we practice. I knocked this guy off. Kareem's going to be right behind me. I'm at this next level blocking. We're going to pick up 8, 9, 10 yards. But Kareem, the guy that we look at and has the better vision than Pacheco, for whatever reason, immediately cuts it up and picks up only 3 yards. According to Mitchell Schwartz, that's one of the easier reads for a running back to have. And the first play of the game, so it's scripted.
Yeah.
That's frustrating there. That's probably somebody looking for the cutback immediately. Not even like judging it and saying, I'm going to cut back here, instead of Kelsey and Taylor had the exact block we're looking for. And it was so good, Kelsey, chucks him that way, he can immediately scrape off and go to the next level. And that's a 3-yard gain, and it could have been an 8, 9, or 10-yard gain. And then the Chiefs' offense is in a 3 and out. So part of me is like, look, the notes were all about Juwan Taylor on that play. Juwan Taylor, good God, man.
So is this your apology to Juwan Taylor?
Yeah, on that particular play it is.
Okay.
And it's also a frustration of like, okay, I do think Breece Hall reads that the correct way and gets outside and uses better speed and ability as a running back. And that's where, and Mitchell Schwartz also saying like, and then I think Jeff Schwartz quote tweeted and said, the Chiefs really need a running back so bad. This was on Monday before the trade deadline. They didn't get one. So I think the running back room is still slightly better, but it's really the health of Pacheco. That was disappointing because I've seen Kareem Hunt, and it's like Kareem Hunt has great vision. But I just would really want to know what goes on in the film room with the running back room and what they would be talking about on that play of like, Kareem, what'd you see? What's the deal here? Cast joining us here in the zone. Matt, what's up, brother? How are you, sir?
We're doing pretty good. We have a little bit of a slower week with no Chiefs game this week and not a ton of excitement here at the trade deadline. So it feels like a nice, relaxing week as a Chiefs fan. Don't have to worry about a game coming up this weekend.
Yeah, you know what? We can sit back, relax. That hasn't been necessarily the case in some of these games, although, years past, I've typically sat back and relaxed and said the Chiefs will find a way to win this particular game outside of the Bills in the regular season. So Sunday wasn't all that too surprising in terms of win-loss record. And Matt, we went back in the first hour. Sterling and Michael and I, we looked at what we predicted game by game and where they would be at the bye week versus where they are right now. I had them 7-2, with one of those losses being to Buffalo. So the game specifically, Matt, a win or loss, isn't that all that surprising. It's just the 3 losses before that came in different games, the Jags being one of them. So as we look at specifically this Bills game, and then I'll get your thoughts on what you think of this team at the bye, but that Bills game specifically, what happened there in Buffalo? What did you see as to why the Chiefs came away with their 4th loss?
It's such a hard thing with the Chiefs and the Bills every regular season because at this point in time, right, like we're going on, I think this is now 5 in a row in the regular season, or maybe even 6. The Bills
it's 5
won,
straight, yeah.
And then 4 in a row, obviously in the playoffs, the Chiefs have won like essentially the same matchup, and a lot of these are happening within the same season. So there's clearly a difference when these two teams match up in the regular season and in the playoffs. Like it's no longer just chance that how the two different matchups keep going. So on some level, there is something that the Bills are doing in the regular season that the Chiefs aren't, and I don't want to pretend like the game doesn't matter. I don't want to act like it's the Chiefs care less about winning this game than the Bills do, but just like the history is telling us that something about these two teams matching up in the regular season pretty much always results in the Bills winning, and then when they match up again in the playoffs, it always results in the Chiefs winning. So when I went back and watched this game, it was more of the same. The Bills just seemed more prepared for the Chiefs than the Chiefs did the Bills, and I don't think this is hey, we are hiding stuff for later. We know we're going to make the playoffs despite that we are now currently sitting as the 8th seed outside of the playoffs or anything like that. It just felt like and looked like the Bills, whether it was preparation or whether it was not by choice necessarily, but how they decided to approach the game, the Bills just simply had a better game plan. They had a really good read on what the Chiefs were trying to do on both sides of the ball, and I don't think the Chiefs really had a good idea of how the Bills were going to play them, especially on defense, and that kind of led to a very slogging offensive performance across the board.
Yeah, the difference in those regular season and playoffs has certainly been discussed and highlighted through both fan bases and the national media. Can you put your finger on as to why there is this difference between the results in these games? I mean, a number of these games are close. Certainly in the playoffs, they're pretty close. Regular season, the Chiefs have had a couple of close losses, 9 points last year, but it was a 2-point game before that 4th down conversion by Josh Allen. There have also been some games where Buffalo just simply, dominated that matchup. Why do you think there is this difference in the matchups regular season to postseason, what has been this series?
So I do think that Andy Reid, when he wins, he wants to win and show as little as possible, except for stuff that he's planning on designing plays off of to utilize in the future, right? So, he'll show some trick plays and stuff like that because they have other plays that play off of it. But when he plays a team that he knows he's going to play again or thinks he might play again, he does like to show as little as possible while still winning the game. Now, obviously, they have not figured out how to actually win the game against Buffalo, but I do think there is a little bit of the Chiefs are going to go out there and they're not making a super Bills-specific game plan in the regular season. They don't come out there, I think, and have a bunch of specific plays and series and packages designed to beat things they've seen that the Bills are specifically doing, whereas I think even just listening to the Bills players, defensive players in particular, talk after the game, they very much are having this is our Chiefs-specific game plan. This is what we're doing only because the Chiefs are our opponent, and I don't feel like the Chiefs in the regular season operate that way. Fast forward to the playoffs, and now all of a sudden, just about every single year, you have the Chiefs offense coming out and running up and down the field on the Bills. The Bills defense can't buy stops because all of a sudden the game plan seems a little bit more tailored to attack specifically what they do rather than stay a little bit more in the broad spectrum. We're the Chiefs. this is what we like to do. We're just going to try to out-execute you during the first 18 weeks of the year.
I do wonder if the Bills coaching staff was okay with some of the Bills players talking about the scout they had on the Chiefs and what they took advantage of and what they saw on film. And, they're excited after the game. They're like, yeah, this is what we had. This is what we did. The Chiefs would do this and we were ready for it. And I do wonder if, like, the Bills coaches are like, hey, Hairston, did you have to say that you knew that Xavier Worthy was tipping pitches? That we saw something on film where Xavier Worthy was giving away whether it was a run or a pass? Did you have to say that to the media? Hey, Cole Bishop, did you have to say that every time they run this particular formation and go in motion with this guy, their tendency is to throw that ball in the flat to that guy, and that's why you took that direct short route to meet him at the ball as opposed to playing it safe down the line, letting him catch it, then make the tackle of 3 or 4 yards? Did you need to say those things? Like, there was a part of me, Matt, that hearing the Bills post game and going, okay, they were clearly ready for a number of these things, and then sort of clicking in well, that's what the Chiefs have done in terms of figuring out what the Bills are doing and then adjusting from that. It's almost like they use the Bills as a pretty good scout team every single year.
Yeah, and it does kind of play out that way. I'm sure the coaching staff wasn't thrilled with these Bills players, especially these young guys, coming in and talking about like what they saw to lead to that performance, because you would like to keep that in your back pocket. Yeah. I do think that these two coaching staffs are familiar enough with one another that I do think the Bills wouldn't rely on this game plan that they just saw or that they just used against the Chiefs again in the playoffs because of how it's gone year after year. Like, the Chiefs never are the same team that the Bills played in the regular season, not even just from a talent or execution standpoint, but from the game plan, what the designs are. So I doubt they were going to come back with the exact same stuff, but I'm sure they would have not liked to let it out there that Xavier Worthy is changing his stance pre-snap based on what might happen. That is probably something you want to keep in your back pocket for as long as possible. And, hey, a rookie spilling that, or Cole Bishop, another young player spilling that, when they do these certain motions, this is what I expect. Those young guys might not be thinking about the fact that these two teams are going to match up yet again in the playoffs, most likely, like they have numerous times over the past half decade.
Yeah, I am. I'm waiting if the Bills and Chiefs match up again in the playoffs. I'm waiting for that play where they run that alignment, they run that formation, they run that guy in motion, and that, whether Cole Bishop or Harrison or whoever, sprints across the field to meet that guy at the catch point, and it's a pump fake, and he turns and runs up the field. And it's wide open. It's like, oh, gotcha. Remember when you said that we only throw to the flat here? Well, you thought that, and we cleared out that side with our routes that were running over routes the other way, and got the safety to look the other way, and we throw it to Worthy or Rice right over the top of you, and now we're running down the field like they did with Dawson Knox. The Bills, faked the wide receiver screen to the outside, and Dawson Knox slipped past everybody, and Watson and Cook, I think, is who it was that bid on that, and it was a big play to Dawson Knox. If the Bills are biting in man-to-man on that motion play, I mean, that's just setting up for the Chiefs to run it a couple times and throw it, and then play it off that.
Well, and that's also, pretty much the same concept that Corn Dog was designed off of, right?
Point.
They saw the way the Eagles attacked across the formation to that jet motion on the goal line against the Jaguars earlier in the year.
Right.
So coming back with something like that, because the way Cole Bishop was sprinting and having to navigate other guys pre-snap, he's not going to be able to stop and pivot back out as fast as a receiver.
He was selling out for that.
Right? So
he was selling out for that flat pass.
Yeah. So it's just an adjustment like that. I'm sure stuff will come off those exact looks. I also think watching it back, I don't know what the Chiefs were exactly doing. They are obviously an incredibly smart organization. I have never seen the Chiefs run so many vertical man-beating route concepts against a team that is playing predominantly zone coverage since Andy Reid's been here. So I don't entirely know just how the whole game plan played out. Beyond just setting up specific plays, the game plan itself seemed like it just didn't align with what they got, and the Chiefs didn't seem overly eager to adjust on the fly to any of the stuff that we had seen work against the Lions, the Raiders, the Commanders. They kind of felt like they wanted to attack them in a certain way. It didn't always work, but they were more than okay just continuing down that path versus trying to veer off into something else. And I can almost assure you that changes in the playoffs, because we see year after year how the Chiefs use the RPO and the quick passing game against the Bills to have success, and we've got almost none of that in this game from start to finish.
Matt Lane is our guest, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. I'm going to use a boxing analogy here with my vast knowledge of boxing and all the years that I participated in the sport. Steve Spagnuolo, the first drive, it's pretty successful for the other team. And you and I have talked about that it's like, okay, panic meter hits an all-time high. It's DEFCON 1 after the first drive for the opposing offense. And then they adjust, and it's like, okay, this is what you're doing. This is what we're seeing. This is how we adjust. So they're, counterpunching in the ring. And I do wonder, from your perspective, how much do the Chiefs go into a game and counterpunch, and how much does Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, Patrick Mahomes, the offense, go in and say, we're Tyson. We're throwing haymakers, and we're going to throw our same 1-2 combos because we know it's worked, and you're stopping it now, but we don't think you're going to stop it for 12 rounds. And we're going to keep throwing these haymakers, and we're not going to be countering. We're not going to be adjusting. This is what we do. We don't think you'll stop it for every round, and we're going to connect on a couple here, and the fight's going to be over.
Yeah, so I think for Andy and that offensive coaching staff, it's really dependent on, if it's regular season or the playoffs, and then also who they're playing. When we see them go up against NFC teams, they don't want to empty the tank necessarily, but we see them get a little bit more aggressive. We see them try a few more things when they go up against a team that they wouldn't most likely play again at any point in time. So like the Lions game, or I'm thinking even some 49ers games in the past, when they go up against other good teams that they will not see again until the Super Bowl, they seem to be a little bit more open against divisional opponents. The Bills, the Ravens, they do like to play it a little bit closer to the vest and say, hey, here's what we like to do. This is our game plan. We're just going to kind of run our same stuff, our day 1, 2, 3 install stuff. We're not going to try to build off of it. We're not going to attack your specific weaknesses or things that we think we can set up as weaknesses for you as much during the regular season. We aren't going to adjust out of halftime as much. And then come playoff time, that all flips, and it becomes very game-specific. It becomes very adjustment-specific, and we have seen the Chiefs, be essentially the best team in the NFL at that over the past half year. So it's not a concern that they can't adjust for anything like that for me. It's just a matter of it was tough this year, where losing this game means that you were 5-4. And not 10-1 or 11-1 or whatever it was last year, where the game didn't really matter as much. This game mattered a little bit more this year to the standings. But that's the only reason I think it was kind of a little bit more frustrating this time around.
Visiting with Matt Lane, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. What do you make of the Bills and Maxwell Hairston saying that Xavier Worthy, his alignment, what he would do with his feet, that's how we knew if it was going to be a run or a pass? Because, boy, pretty difficult to play your game if the opposing team has a decent idea percentage-wise that it's going to be a run or a pass. What did you make of that? And we saw it with Josh Simmons in the preseason, right, where his alignment was sort of tipping pitches, for lack of a better term. Is that an easy fix? Is that laziness from Xavier Worthy, that it's a run, so I don't really have to do much? What did you make of that commentary and what it could mean for the Chiefs moving forward to fix that particular aspect?
It's definitely something you have to identify and go back and look at both as a team. And we're the Chiefs should have seen this on their own. Yeah. So the fact that either they didn't and didn't think it mattered, or they did and he still didn't fix it, is something you do got to fix. You do got to figure out and have a conversation about it. But I remember the first Super Bowl of this Chiefs little dynasty run here. Frank Clark tweeted out a picture or Instagrammed a picture of his tells from the 49ers offensive tackles. And we've had years and years of discussion about Trent Williams tipping runs and passes for the 49ers, and he's been, the best left tackle in football over that time, and it hasn't really seemed to matter. So as long as you can create, as long as it can't be 100%, as long as your opponent can't say with 100% certainty that your stance or your alignment is going to lead to a specific play, it's fine. It's not a big deal, because all it takes is for them to be wrong one time where you put doubt into their head, or for you to mix it up once. So I don't get overly concerned by that. I do appreciate Maxwell Harrison putting it on out there for the Chiefs to know, though, because, again, they should have already known this, and if they didn't, this is now good that they know, because you got to at least be aware. So that way, like I said, you can mix it up once or twice. Doesn't have to be every play. You don't have to constantly have the exact same stance, but you have to mix it up just enough that a defender can't sell out based entirely off of one person's alignment every single snap.
Matt Lane is our guest, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast, KC Sports. I'm getting choked up just talking to you, Matt. I'm so excited about the second half of the season. We'll see. What do you think about this team at the bye week? They're sitting 5-4, halfway through the season, or a game past, 2 quarters past halfway. They're 5-4. Where they are, certainly I wouldn't imagine record-wise is where you thought they would be, but as a team, how they're playing, are they close to what you thought they would be, better, slightly worse? What's your assessment of this team at the bye?
Yeah, I think for the by and large they're about what I thought they would be. I think you have the Bills game notwithstanding, because like we kind of talked about, I think there was some other stuff at work there just in terms of the game plan. The offense looks like it can compete to be one of the best 3 in the NFL. And defensively, I know they've had a lot of success this year, and they have stacked up multiple good performances. When I watch them, it still just feels like it's being held together a little bit looser, strings than you would like. So I still think defensively you might get a little slip as we go through the back half of the year. But yeah, overall, I think the team is about what I expected now. I didn't anticipate them going 0-4 in one-score games to lead to the 4 losses. I think that's the biggest surprise. Now some of these games have been fake one-score games.
Yes.
The Chiefs have scored and then given and made it one score pretty much at the end of the game with no real chance to actually win. Some of them, like this last one, was a missed field goal into a Hail Mary. That's why it's a one-score game. So maybe they're kind of fake one-score games. But being 0-4 in one-score games after being so good last year is a little surprising, because I do think that they had this aura of being able to just figure it out. They're the winners. They're going to make it work. So you kind of want to get that mystique back. You probably want to close out some games that are really tight here in the back half of the year so you feel a little bit better going into the playoffs. But, yeah, by and large, about what I expected from them on both, in terms of offensive and defensive performance.
What I think is interesting, too, if we look at, the one-score games from last year, you bring that up, and it sparks the thought in my head about last year. As I'm looking back to those one-score games, okay, they beat Baltimore week 1, one-score games. Well, Baltimore was trying to come back and win that game and made it a one-score game. The Raiders, the Chiefs win by 7 on the road in Vegas, and the Raiders get a late touchdown and have to attempt an onside kick. That's the desperation. They were down by 14. Tampa Bay came back, tied it late, and it went into overtime. Carolina came back, tied it late. Then the Chiefs went down and scored. Denver, you get the blocked field goal, but that wasn't a blocked field goal to get the ball back and then go and score to win. It was a blocked field goal that won the game because they were leading. The Raiders fumbled the ball, and they were leading. That Chargers game was one to where they had to go and kick the field goal to win it. But, it feels a lot like the Chiefs this year in one-score games. It's just flipped from what the one-score games were in terms of game script. These one-score games are becoming one-score games, Chargers and Bills specifically, in that they were down by what could have been more than a score. The 4th down and long to Hollywood Brown against the Chargers, if that isn't converted, the Chiefs don't lose by a score to the Chargers. If the field goal goes through, they lose by 10 to the Bills, and it's not a one-score game. Kind of just feels like the game script is flipped, that the Chiefs were leading and the other teams got close enough to make it a one-score game, where at least 2 of these games, the Chiefs were not the better team on the field, and you can make a case that those teams that won probably should have won by a wider margin.
No, absolutely. One-score games are tricky because the way I always parse them out is did the other team, the team that lost, did they actually have the ball with a chance to tie it or to take the lead at any point in time? Mm-hmm. And if they didn't, then that it's a little bit different. Yeah. So the Chiefs are the ones that are constantly chasing this year. It feels like they keep getting not in a hole, but they are the ones in the fourth quarter that are chasing the other team, whereas last year, they won a lot of one-score games, but the majority of them were them trying to hold off the other team. And we can talk about all the luck stuff again all we want to with fumbles and missed field goals and blocked field goals. At the end of the day, the Chiefs were still ahead, right? They were the better team up until that point happened. This year, it hasn't quite been that way. All these one-score games that they're not winning, they are unable to string together enough quality defensive and offensive possessions in a row to get the stop and then the ball back and score to take the lead. They are the one that's chasing. So, it definitely has felt different. And if you were the team chasing, it is obviously more likely that you are going to win less of those one-score games than if you're the ones trying to hold off the other team. But it would still be nice to see that, start to figure this out again because, again, 0-4 when you go into the playoffs, every game's going to be pretty tight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Outside the wild card round, almost every game ends up pretty close. you want to be the team that has the confidence that you're going to be able to pull them off, and I'm sure the Chiefs do. But there is probably a difference between going in 10-0 in one-score games versus being 0-4 once you start that process.
Yeah, and the other two games that were one-score games were games where the Chiefs just didn't make the bigger play or the other team made the biggest play. I mean, they're down by 3 to the Eagles, and it's an interception in the end zone, and they could have gone up by 4. The Eagles go down, score a touchdown. Now you're down 10. You could have been up 14 against the Jags, and it's a pick 6, and now it's tied. And like, oh, that's those are massive changes. And also that final drive by the Jags, they converted third downs and fourth downs and all of those things. So those games happened. They just weren't happening last year. Matt Lane, KC Sports Network. The trade deadline came and went with a lot of inactivity when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. Connor Hughes had the report that was out there that the Chiefs offered a fourth. He's got the sources on the Jets side of that, and so how accurate that is or not could have been the Chiefs saying, I mean, we'd be willing to maybe do a fourth. Would that even be something? No, we want a third. All right, cool. Thanks, man. We're not doing that. Conversation over. What do you make of the trade deadline? They did not make a move, and really the reaction has been louder than I thought it would be about not spending a day 2 pick on a rental running back.
Yeah, so I think for me, I have to make a couple assumptions real quickly. We're never going to find out. The Chiefs are never going to fully share their process. But I do have to make a couple assumptions here, and these are not my opinion of a fan of what I would do. I'm just making assumptions based on what I think, how the Chiefs were operating. I don't think the Chiefs were going to trade for somebody, especially a running back, and then pay them a substantial contract. The last couple good running backs, like quality running backs that have hit the open market in free agency, have gotten $15 million per year, Derrick Henry, and I think $12.5 million per year, Josh Jacobs. The Chiefs were reportedly interested in Jacobs a little bit. They just weren't getting close to that 12.5 number. So if we really want to talk about trading for Breece Hall, I think we immediately have to cut off the idea that they were likely to extend him. I don't think they were going to trade and extend a running back for a contract that is going to be in that $12 to $15 million, most likely, per year range. I just don't think that is in the cards for where this team currently sits. So if you're trading for Breece Hall in this situation, which is the one that I think a lot of fans are upset by, you're trading for a half-a-year rental. That's it. There's nothing coming on the back end of it. Even if you run out the comp pick formula, running backs rarely lead to comp picks, and when they do, they're usually pretty capped out as about a fifth rounder because they don't get as much money as other positions. So even if you got lucky enough to be in the bonus, you're still only getting at best a fifth-year comp pick, which is rare, and another year away. So it's, again, a half-year rental for a third-round pick. That's a little steep for me. I would have probably played it under those assumptions, like under that path. I would have played it like the Chiefs. I think a round 4 pick was more than reasonable for a half a year of a running back, and then you're going to let him walk. I wouldn't be mad if they gave up their third-round pick because I do think he would substantially help the offense even more. But I also am not mad they didn't go that far. I think calling the Jets bluff and then just watching the Jets say no to lose Breece Hall for presumably nothing come this offseason unless they franchise tag him is in crazy roster management from the Jets right now, who are clearly selling all their other pieces off.
Yeah, from the Jets' standpoint, if they offered you a fourth, that's I don't understand why you wouldn't do that. And I know that they think they might get a comp pick, but the Chiefs are going to get a fifth-round comp pick this year for Justin Reed, and Justin Reed signed 3 years for $10.5 million annual average value, guaranteed dollars, and all of that stuff. James Cook signed his extension for 4 years for $11.5 million per year annual average value. Reed brought back a fifth-rounder. And there's Breece Hall, if he were to go somewhere, it would be, re-signing with that team probably. And is he going to hold out for more money, or is he going to say, you know what James Cook got, that's what I would like? Okay, well, that ain't a third-round comp. that's a fifth-round comp, probably a higher, and maybe depending on the formula. But also, if you're the New York Jets, you're not going to take some of the money that you've saved with Sauce and Quinnen Williams and go spend money in free agency. And if you do, well, that's going to wipe out that comp pick for Breece Hall.
So yeah, it made no sense from the Jets' perspective. Yeah. I think that's been the most frustrating part is 31 teams decided that Breece Hall wasn't worth a third-round draft pick. Why did the Jets not take whatever was offered to them for him, and especially because it's pretty clear he wants out. So their only real move that makes any sense left would be to transition tag him, which players that want away from a team getting transition tagged sure sounds like a good plan if you're the Jets, but that might be their best avenue left now that they didn't make this trade. So yeah, I didn't get it from the Jets' perspective. I understand being disappointed as a Chiefs fan that they couldn't make it work. But again, I understand the process of not wanting to give up a third-round pick for a half-year rental of a running back for this particular team that, like we just said, you're probably not going to recoup a ton of value from in the comp pick formula just because of the contract. And even then, you sign one person in free agency, it's canceling it out. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to have a lot of other players that are leaving in free agency that are going to be warranted of comp picks coming up this next year. So I get the Chiefs not doing it. I'm actually a little bit more frustrated that we didn't hear more buzz about the Chiefs being interested in some of the defensive linemen. I thought Draymond Jones going for a fifth-round pick that's conditionally a fourth-rounder. I think even Jalen Phillips, while a third-round pick is steep for a guy of his injury history, just even being intrigued by players like that for those prices, I think not being interested in defensive line help is more frustrating to me than not going to a third-round pick for Breece Hall at running back.
Maybe this is the leads into the last question here, your answer. Matt Lane is our guest. Last one for you. Where would you like to see the most improvement in the second half of the season? If there's a spot where the Chiefs are like, wow, they are much better now, if we're going into the postseason, than they were at the bye week, what positional group would you like to see that happen at?
I think the low-hanging fruit is obviously like the defensive line and the pass rush, but I don't know where I see where it would come from with that unit, so I'm going to take it a different route just because I don't know. Again, I don't know where that pass rush improvement's going to come from, what they are. I think they kind of are who they are this year, so I'm going to go the other side of the ball, actually, and just find more consistency on the offensive side of the ball, and I think where I would like to see more improvement, and it's not that this unit has been bad, they've just been inconsistent because of injuries, because of up and down, but offensive line. I would like to see the offensive line play consistently like I know they can. We've seen them be very good for stretches this year. It's just they aren't that good week in and week out, and I think that's the difference between elite or excellent offensive lines and ones that are just good or okay and good enough is that their consistency. You can trust them week in and week out to do their job. I don't know after watching like this Bills game in particular, even some stretches of the Washington game, if you can go in and say next week if it's the same starting five that you are completely confident. So, yeah, I would like to see the offensive line, I think, just be more consistent and playing up to their potential rather than flashing it for a game or two here and there.
Could be a yes or no question. Is that just Josh Simmons getting back in there and playing every week?
I think that is a large I do think that's a large portion of it. That will help a lot. I think Juwan Taylor, I do think he had his worst game against the Bills, and I know he was sick and then left because he was injured, and then Trey Smith missed some time. So, like, they've had some guys that have seemed like they've dealt with lingering injuries. So I think the bye week and allowing them to get healthy and hopefully Simmons back should lead to that because Kingsley's looked a lot better as the year's gone on.
Absolutely.
He's improved exactly how you would want. So get everybody else healthy and back, then I think you might get that consistent offensive line play I'm hoping for.
Matt Lane, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Matt, you're the man as always. Appreciate it, brother. Enjoy the week off, and we'll talk in a couple of weeks, man.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Absolutely. There's Matt Lane, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. We take a timeout, come back. We continue more Zone right after this. Hey, man, if you're out there and of a certain age and you have suffered from erectile dysfunction, then you know some of the issues that it can cause. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you to Matt Lane, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast, Cody Goodwin, Power Mizzou. We'll talk with him coming up at noon. Mizzou A&M on Saturday, 2:30 on ABC. Unless you've got YouTube TV.
Unless you're going, baby.
Or if you're going, that's right. I want to talk about, something we had mentioned in the first hour. We were talking, we got into our discussion about where the Chiefs are now versus what we thought they would be at the bye week, sitting 5-4, and positionally better or worse than what they thought they would be before the season started, and now sitting at 5-4 at the bye week. But we are going to be watching Chiefs games, and I believe the Chiefs playing in games in a way that we haven't done in 4 years. We have had the luxury of analyzing, watching, talking about, and I think for the most part, even Chiefs players playing in games where you'd like to see them win. More times than not, they ultimately do. But it doesn't have the dire consequence that we've seen in the past. The Chiefs will be playing a game in Denver that is essentially a must-win for them to win the division. If they do not win that game in Denver, they aren't going to win the division this year. Now, if Denver were to lose to the Raiders tonight somehow at home, maybe it changes the calculus a little bit. But assuming the Broncos don't pee down their leg at home against the Raiders, then I think Denver will have that 2-game lead over the Chiefs next Sunday when they match up. So you're going to have to win that game. 2021 is the last time we've discussed a team, this Chiefs team, in a position where they are playing teams the next 2 weeks that have a better record than they do. At this point, going in after playing 9 games and thinking about what the implications are for the division and if this team, that team, good enough to win the division. And hey, do you have a real challenger this year to win the division? We all believe that the AFC West has 2 real challengers to win the West. Chargers maybe not as strong as they were at one point because they no longer have 2 all-pro tackles. They have 0. But 2021, they were sitting 5-4. They were facing off against the Raiders on the road. They were sitting 5-4, going to Vegas. The Raiders were 5-3 going into that game. The Chiefs were trailing in the division after 9 weeks, coming off a Super Bowl loss, randomly, coincidentally, maybe more than coincidence, coming off a Super Bowl loss, starting 5-4. Chiefs coming off a Super Bowl loss, starting 5-4, and going into a game where you go, if you lose to the Raiders, they have the tiebreaker, and you're a game and a half back. Well, you kind of feel like you need to beat the Raiders if you're going to be in a position to go and continue this run with Patrick Mahomes. Now, they beat the Raiders by 4 touchdowns in that game. So they took care of business.
Was that the one where they had 28 points in the second quarter or something like that?
That was the no, that was a different game.
The Raider beatdowns, they get conflated and confused sometimes because there's so many of them.
What this one was. This one was a second half beatdown of 24-7 in the second half. It was 17-7. The Chiefs were leading at halftime. Then it was 17-14. Chiefs were up by a score with 12 minutes to go in the third quarter, and then they end up with 41 points, winning 41-14. But the next week, after winning that game, they sit 6-4, and they head to Dallas. The Cowboys were 7-2 at that point. And yes, the Chiefs had just knocked off the Raiders. They were sitting 6-4. The Raiders were then 5-4. So they had a half game up and a tiebreaker on them at that particular time. But we were looking at games differently with the loss to the Titans by 24 points that year. I mean, it was like the Chiefs have been figured out. They lost to the Ravens by a point when Clyde fumbled, but also Mahomes threw a bad pick. They lost to the Chargers at home by 6. They got beat down by the Bills by almost 3 touchdowns at home. And then they lost by 24 points to the Titans. Okay, you beat the Giants by 3. Jordan Love's Packers and his family sitting 7 miles high. You won by 6 against a quarterback that was god-awful in that game. Like, you're just not playing well at all.
Was that game?
Yeah, so you're the reason. Well,
It's probably my fault.
Maybe you shouldn't go on Saturday.
Maybe another Bills game, too.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't go on Saturday. I don't know. But we're now watching this Chiefs team completely different. Like, there's no longer it'll be fine. It'll be fine. They'll find a way to win this game, and other teams in their division will start to collapse because they're not as good. And the Chiefs will win the division, and other teams around the AFC, somehow, some way, it'll be to where they're the 1 or 2 seed or the 3 seed and still go and win the Super Bowl against the 49ers that year and going to Buffalo and going to Baltimore. But it's been 4 years since the fan base and the players approach a team and teams after 9 weeks and 9 games where the next 2 weeks they will play teams with better records than they have, one of those in their own division that they're chasing.
That Broncos game is paramount and nearly equivalent to a playoff game, as you're mentioning. They need this win more than any regular season win I can remember in, again, recent Chiefs history. You're right. Most of the times during the regular season, I think it even looks like that at times where they care, but they also know they're going to be in the playoffs, and how big of a game is it really?
22, they were 7-2 after 9 games. 23, they were 7-2 after 9 games and beat the Miami Dolphins. Last year, they were 9-0 after 9 games. So it's been 4 years since they've had this record and trailing in their division after playing 9 games.
If I hear low energy or anything about energy from any player following the game, I am going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
That will be beyond inexcusable, and quite frankly, it'd be worth a benching in my mind. Like that would be worth saying, hey, if you're going to come out flat, sorry, then you're instead the first half.
Yeah, like when you say we, is it a collective we that you just sort of felt lack of energy? Was there a particular player in particular you felt like didn't bring it? Was it you
Yeah.
that didn't match the energy? Who was it? When was it? And why? Patrick Holmes talked last week going into Buffalo about they hate us. You look forward to games like this. You get to play in that stadium. The crowd's going to be crazy. This is, big reason why you play. And then to have people go, oh, you didn't really match that, energy. They come out 3 and out. The Bills go down and score. And the Chiefs did, put points on the board, but, or I should say, Bills score, then you go 3 and out, then the Bills get the ball back. Luckily, the Chiefs get a stop and then go down and score and tie the game up. And you felt like, okay, maybe they figured it out now. But then they came out in the second half and felt sleepy.
Yeah.
In the game. So I don't know what it takes for them to show up in a big game because they're playing regular season games, middle of the season regular season games, not with the number 1 seed on the line in their mind. It's 1, can you win the division? Or 1, can you make the playoffs? 2, can you win the division?
And I will point out, Patriots had this happen how many times during their run where they're done, they struggled in the regular season, and they sneak in, and then, oh, okay, yeah, they're still the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. They're still a great team. But you got to find ways to, some years, you might have to sneak in. It's not always going to be 15-2. It's not always going to be 14-3. There are going to be some seasons where variance might go against you. How do you respond? This looks like one of those seasons. Variance might go against you. How do you respond?
Yep. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back on the other side. Travis Kelce weighed in on this. We'll hear from him. Cody Goodwin joins us at noon. We'll get back into some of these conversations. CBS has the Chiefs as the 6th seed with their rest of season predictions, which, again, just make the tournament, and we'll see what happens. I think the Chiefs can go on the road 3 weeks in a row and win. We'll see if they have to do that as this season progresses. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. NBA fans, well, the NBA is back, and your favorite players are back as well. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. With more markets open... matchup coming up on Saturday at 2:30. Huge game for the Missouri Tigers. Playoff hopes still alive. They will be extinguished on Saturday if they do not beat A&M. So we'll talk with Cody Godin about the matchup. Mizzou Tigers, Zollers playing, freshman against A&M.
Gonna be loud. It's a blackout. If you're going to the game, it's a blackout.
There you go.
I'm not saying how much you drink. I'm saying it's a blackout and what you wear.
I'll ask you what you remember the game on Monday, Sterling. You don't
Everything.
know. We'll see. Cody Goodwin next. I will continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, heading up until 2 o'clock. An hour from now, we will play some sports or leisure. Right now, we talk some college football. Cody Goodwin from Power Mizzou joins us here in the zone to break down this Missouri and Texas A&M matchup coming up on Saturday. Cody, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you guys reaching out and having me on.
Well, we appreciate you coming on the show. Let's talk about this. Missouri number 22 in the college football playoff rankings. Texas A&M number 3. So we know that going into it. I wanted to get your thoughts on the injury report that came out last night from Missouri's perspective. We expected Bo to be out for a while, maybe the season. But Brett Norfleet, who left the game against Vanderbilt, is listed as questionable. Do you think there is a chance that he plays, or is this sort of questionable with that separated shoulder, kind of week to week? We'll see what it looks like on Saturday, but probably maybe more likely than not that he's not out there with a shoulder that's separated against Vandy.
Yeah, I think it's more of like a day-to-day thing, right? It was kind of subtle. I mean, given the whole Bo thing at that Vanderbilt game, that we really didn't pay too close attention when Norfleet went out. And I think part of that could also be, Brett's backup at tight end, Jude James, has been fairly impressive in some of the snaps that he's gotten. So I'm kind of curious to see how he does. I imagine that he is probably prepared with the ones this past week. But yeah, I mean, Norfleet, like that's a pretty big loss for Mizzou, right? Like he's obviously tight end 1. He started all 8 games this season. He leads the team with 5 touchdown receptions. Drinkwitz called it a day-to-day thing last week when we asked about him, said to pay attention to the injury report. I imagine, barring something unforeseen, that Brett will probably suit up and try to play. But I imagine even then, with the separated shoulder and also just his injury history, it could be one of those touch-and-go things where maybe he's out there to start the game and just to kind of see how it goes or how it is. And I imagine Jude James will probably be at the ready to step in and play quite a bit on Saturday against A&M.
Well, hopefully he can go because he is a big target, literally and figuratively, for true freshman Zollers. Real quick on the injury report on the other side, Le'Veon Moss is going to miss another game, and he might miss another couple of weeks. They're hoping to get him back before the end of the season and in the playoffs if they make that. But I think a pretty big development, and A&M has dudes all over the place, there's no doubt, but Scooby Williams, who missed a couple of games and then came back and played in a couple of games, is now listed as out against the Missouri Tigers on Saturday. That's their senior, stud linebacker. What kind of an impact do you think this can make for A&M with Scooby not playing?
Yeah, man, like he's a pretty critical part of what they do defensively. So that's obviously good news for Mizzou if he can't suit up and go. I know he's been dealing with injuries on and off for most of the season. So I mean, anytime you can take a dude off of that A&M defense and make them a little bit lesser version of themselves, that's obviously going to help, especially with Matt Zollers getting the start at quarterback for Mizzou this Saturday. I will say, though, and you touched on this, there's a lot of grown men on that A&M defense. They did a really good job retaining talent through, between last season, Elko's first season, and now this season, and I think you're really seeing the benefits of that. It's an A&M defense that, obviously they're one of the best in the country on third downs. They're one of the best in the country just getting after and impacting the quarterback. And a lot of that I think is because they were able to retain a lot of dudes from last year's team, and that's another year in the system. That's another year of Mike Elko understanding his personnel and kind of knowing what buttons to push, what levers to pull, and what calls to make, right? And so, Scooby going out is obviously a big deal for them. He's a pretty high-impact guy for them and allows them to do some things. But, there's going to be another guy that's going to step in right for that defense, and I'm not sure that they're going to miss too much of a beat. Maybe they're a touch slower at that linebacker position because there's no Scooby there. I know that they're dealing with a few different injuries on the defense. I think that safety Bryce Anderson won't be there as well. But yeah, Scooby's a big loss for them, man, and obviously that's going to help Mizzou going forward. But just the way that I've seen this A&M defense play, I'm not sure how big of a drop off it'll actually be, because the challenge is going to remain pretty steep for Zollers in the offense.
Yeah, Cody Goodwin is our guest. Okay, so how big of a drop off is it going to be from Bo Prabula to Matt Zollers? And Eli weighed in on it, but how much do you think we may see a different type of offense, some different concepts on offense with Zollers as opposed to Prabula?
I think that's the real big thing that's going to make this super interesting on Saturday, right? And this has been such a fascinating conversation, I think even going all the way back to the Vanderbilt game, and I'm not sure we'll find out full answers until we actually see it on Saturday, right? So, Bo goes down, and when Zollers has to come in that Vanderbilt game, he's still pretty much operating within the offense that they had designed for Bo, right? Like that was, you're talking about midway through the third quarter. I'm not sure how much they can actually overhaul, in the course of a series, right? Just to get him ready and get him comfortable, talking about Matt Zollers. But now that they've had 2 weeks to prepare, they had the bye week, they've had this week to, kind of figure out what pages of the playbook that they can open up now with Zollers, what pages of the playbook they can maybe close because Bo's no longer the quarterback. Bo's a guy that relies a lot on his legs, right? He does pretty well out of play action. He can get the ball out quick and accurately when his first read's available. He's got good arm talent. I wouldn't say great or elite, but he's had some moments where the ball flies out of his hand and it's like, oh, hey, that's a pretty good throw. But Zollers is as athletic similarly, but man, that arm talent's really hard to ignore, right? Like he was a top 100 recruit. The ball just kind of jumps out of his hands. He can make some throws that I don't think Pribula can. And I think that's going to open up some pages of the playbook that weren't necessarily available when Bo was at quarterback, right? So I think the offense will look different. I'm expecting maybe some more downfield throws, maybe a different style of offense, maybe not a total complete overhaul, but, there's going to be some plays on Saturday that I think we're going to see that maybe we haven't seen a ton of on Saturday, with Bo at quarterback. So I think the other thing to maybe keep in mind is that, Zollers is a true freshman, right? He's 19 years old. He's only played 90 snaps this season, and more than half of them came in the second half of that Vanderbilt game. So while I think the offense will look different, we also got to remember that that's a true freshman going out there against a defense that's full of grown men. So it's, I temper your expectations. I think it's fair to be excited because it's like, okay, this is going to be a glimpse at the future for Mizzou on offense, but also just remember what the actual thing is, and that's a 19-year-old going up against one of the best defenses in the country.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure on that offensive line because if they are pressuring Matt throughout the game and as a freshman, it's going to be tough for him to just sit in there and let plays develop and trust that the offensive line is going to protect on that particular play if it's inconsistent throughout. So it's going to be a tall task for the offensive line to make sure that Zollers remains upright. Is there an opportunity here for an advantage, Cody, for Mizzou in that what is on tape for the Missouri Tigers offensively is the offense with Bo Pribula? Is there an advantage in that there may be a number of unscouted looks in this game for A&M where Missouri is running some plays and some concepts that they have specifically for Zollers that they haven't used because it's been all about Bo Pribula?
Yeah, I think that's, if you want to take the optimistic view of this, I think absolutely that's something that you can lean on because, we haven't seen a ton of Zollers, which means Texas A&M hasn't necessarily seen a ton of Zollers, right? And I think, he played 47 snaps against Vanderbilt, and, Vanderbilt, give that defense credit, right? Really sound, fundamentally sound defense. They're not a defense that's really out of position a whole lot. So you kind of have to make the plays to beat a defense like that. And for a while on that Saturday, Zollers was making some of those plays, right? He was navigating the pocket pretty well. Finding that extra second to get the ball out. I think Mizzou was 4 for 4 on fourth downs with Zollers in the game. He had a really nice throw, kind of on a crosser to Manning to convert 15 yards on 4th and 10. He had another one, I think 4th and 12, where he hit Kevin Coleman for a first down over the middle. There's some clear zip on this guy's arm that maybe we haven't seen out of Bo yet, and I think that's going to bode well for Mizzou's offense. And I think also it's a challenge because, to your point, not a ton of tape out there for A&M to maybe necessarily scheme against. So I think you can lean on some of the obvious where it's like, okay, what do you do with a young quarterback? You heat him up and see if he can deal with the pressure. Vanderbilt tried to do that, and they had some success, but Zollers also stood in the pocket and was able to deliver some throws, whether it's to Coleman over the middle, Manning on 4th down. He hit Jude James when taking a pretty big hit at one point in that game. So, Vanderbilt starts to back off a little bit, and then Zollers is able to find a rhythm, and the offense looks good until that fumble at midfield. I think what'll be interesting is, does A&M try something similar? Do they just kind of hang back and see if the kid can dice him up with his arm, or do you continue to apply pressure? Because Vanderbilt's defense is good, but A&M's got some grown dudes that maybe Vanderbilt doesn't necessarily have, and that's going to create some different challenges, not only for Zollers, but for, you mentioned it, the offensive line as well, right? Like, this is an offensive line that's been giving up on average 2 sacks a game. This is an A&M team that is on average, 3 or more sacks per game. So there's a lot of different challenges here and a lot of different little chess matches that are going to be really interesting to pay attention to, but I think I do think if you want to be optimistic, A&M doesn't have a lot of tape on Zollers, and I think that could be an advantage for Mizzou for sure.
Does Kirby Moore, do they rely on Ahmad Hardy and Roberts to take some of that pressure off Zollers in this game?
I think they do, right? Because that's what this offense
that's
is
what the offense
around,
is anyway,
Bo,
but maybe just even more, I guess,
Yeah, I think, the offense is, whether it's Bo or Zollers, right, they want to start with the run game. They want to establish that outside zone. So I think they'll lean on Hardy. They'll lean on Roberts quite a bit. But I think, to your point, like, are there plays that can be called in this game because Zollers is at quarterback? Now, I would anticipate that Mizzou will probably try to throw downfield a little bit more just because Zollers has that natural arm talent. Like, that is something Drink has been raving about since Zollers joined the program, and then especially so over this last week as they're getting ready for this game. So, and I think if Zollers is able to connect on some of those deeper balls, that'll kind of keep the defense honest, right? A&M's defense honest. That'll maybe loosen up the defense a little bit, and that could create more running lanes for Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts. So I think there's, it'll be kind of an interesting cat and mouse game that way to see, does the deep ball open up the run game? Can the run game help open up the deep ball on play action? That type of thing. Because this A&M defense has shown that they can be had a little bit, even if they are effective on third downs and getting after the quarterback. If you can stand in there and make some plays and make some throws, there are yards to be gained here.
Cody Goodwin is our guest from Power Mizzou. All right, so on the flip side, the Mizzou defense has been really good this year. They are going up against they went up against the guy that is going to be a top draft pick in the NFL draft in Ty Simpson, and he is also one of the favorites to win the Heisman. But Marcel Reed is right behind him for Texas A&M as the 4th betting favorite for the Heisman. I thought it was interesting that Eli said, well, this is what we thought we were going to see last year. We saw a different guy who killed us, but this is who we were planning on seeing, and kind of taking credit that, hey, I believed in this guy before they did. Take that, Colin Klein. I believed in your guy before you did. Marcel Reed is an absolute stud. How do they start to go about sort of limiting what he can do in just being that Jaden Daniels type player that killed Mizzou a couple of years ago for LSU?
Yeah, I enjoyed Drinkwitz kind of poking fun at himself after what happened last year, just kind of getting ready to play Marcel, and then ultimately Wegman goes out there and throws for like 270 yards, and we all saw what happened last year at College Station, but. No, man, Marcel Reed's really good. He's he's maybe not the most accurate quarterback, but he's able to get the ball to his playmakers, right? And this is where I think the injury to Le'Veon Moss has been a little bit more noticeable for the A&M offense, right? They've been relying a little bit more on Marcel Reed to use his legs. I think 5 of his rushing touchdowns have come in the last 4 weeks. So they've been able to mix him, and I think it's Reuben Owens who's the next running back up since Moss hasn't been back yet. So that's something Mizzou needs to be aware of, right? And that's something they've actually done pretty well this season, I thought, containing mobile quarterbacks and kind of forcing them to beat that Mizzou defense with their arms. And, I think we saw it against Jalen Daniels. We saw it against Lenore Sellers. Ty Simpson's more of a pocket passer, but he's got some mobile qualities to him. Same thing with Diego Pavia, right? Like, they really didn't let Pavia, kind of get into that chaos mode and beat them. Same thing with Jackson Arnold in Auburn. Like, they've done really well against quarterbacks that can both throw and run the ball. So I think, again, like, you probably feel pretty good about that matchup specifically if you're Mizzou. I think the one thing to maybe keep an eye on, though, is that when Marcel Reed does get the ball to his skill guys, and I'm talking specifically about the receivers, Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion, the 2 transfer guys, that's where A&M's offense really starts to cook a little bit. And Mizzou's defense has been exceptional this season, great with elite moments, I think. If there is a weakness, and we're picking nits here, it's the secondary. And so I think if you're a little nervous about Mizzou's defense going up against A&M's offense, it's more the personnel matchups of, can the Tigers secondary take care of Concepcion and Craver? Because it doesn't take much for those guys to find some space and maybe get a step on the DB, and next thing you know, a big play happens and the energy of the game shifts. So Marcel Reed still has to get those guys the ball. But they've been able to do that on a pretty regular basis over the course of the season. Like they're top 10 nationally, I think, or maybe top 25 nationally in scoring offense. So, they're able to get some chunk plays. I think they'll probably find a few chunk plays on Saturday against that Mizzou secondary. But I think that the key for Mizzou is to, one, pick your head back up when you give up those chunk plays, and two, try to limit them as much as possible, because those are two really speedy guys, and they're hard for anybody to cover. So I imagine, again, Mizzou secondary has been very good this season, and the defense as a whole has really impacted quarterbacks trying to get the ball to their speedy receivers. But that personnel matchup, I'm not sure is something I necessarily love if you're Mizzou's coaching staff.
Visiting with Cody Goodwin, PowerMizzou.com. All right, so there are so many different job openings, and the coaching carousel could be quite entertaining. Maybe not entertaining for Missouri fans. Eli Drinkwitz's name is brought up with Florida and Auburn, and pretty much every job that's out there is like, here are the list of candidates that people will call. What's the feeling around there in Columbia with Eli Drinkwitz? Do they feel confident that Eli is going to be around next year, in the next few years, or is this maybe the year that they feel like if we can get past this coaching carousel, then there's a pretty decent chance this guy's going to be here for a very long time?
I think you nailed it right there with that last comment. I think if Mizzou can hang on to this guy through this coaching cycle and just all the Power 4 jobs that are already open and some other ones that maybe we think are going to come open over the next month or so, then you got to feel pretty good about this guy maybe sticking it out at Mizzou for the long haul, right? So, I mean, it makes sense. And, I kind of like Drink's comments earlier this season when some of the first jobs came available and his name was popping up on lists that, it is a credit to the University of Missouri, not just Eli Drinkwitz, that he's in a position like that to be mentioned for a lot of those opening jobs, right? Because it speaks to, one, his talent as a coach and as a program builder, and being able to, navigate a bunch of personnel changes himself, and being able to navigate, the recruiting world of today and the transfer portal world of today, and to continue to put forth really good rosters year after year after year. But also, one thing he has continually said, and I'm talking about Drink now, is that he's gotten a lot of support from the University of Missouri. Like, basically anything he has asked for or wanted, Missouri has come through and given it to him, whether it's, stadium renovations, his own pay raises, getting more money for his assistants, right? Like, that was something that was orchestrated not too long ago. So I think Drink is mostly happy here. He likes that there's alignment, I think, all the way, from the top to the bottom when it comes to, supporting the football program. I think that's something to keep in mind as more of these coaching openings come open, right? Like, there's not, there's a lot of schools that have a lot of resources, but they don't necessarily have that alignment from top to bottom in the same way that Mizzou does. And I think Drink really, really appreciates that. So I think the general vibe is that, you never really know what's on a coach's heart, but at the same time, like, Drink has a really, really good thing going here at Missouri. I would be a little surprised to see him leave. But at the same time, if there's a coaching cycle where he does leave, it might be this one, just because of all the different options available. And, maybe he feels like he needs to go somewhere else to do the things that he wants to do as a head coach. But, I think to your point, kind of how this started, if Mizzou's able to hang on to this guy through this particular coaching cycle, I think it's safe to say that he's going to stick around for the long haul.
So I've heard through a kind of source of a source.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's
Cody. This is concrete. This is concrete.
This is not concrete, Cody.
Source of a source.
I just want to see if it's something that you have heard as well. The rumblings were that Laird Veach did not go to the Mizzou-Howard basketball game because he was trying to work on an extension with Drink. I've heard somewhere around the $10 million per year, but a obviously longer-term extension. Don't know if any of that has been substantiated or not, but that's just some of the rumblings that I have heard from some folk.
Have you been reading our message board? Because I feel like any and all rumors kind of start there, and Gabe and I usually have to take some time to suss out which one's true and which one's aren't.
I have not been, so
why not?
That is intriguing. No, it's just again, it's trickled down, I guess, to me from some folk, and so I was just wondering to see if that had been if there's anything to that, or if that's just a very random.
Mizzou Tiger #1 fan 1967 sent Sterling that tip.
Or if that's an extrapolation there.
Yes, maybe, I don't know. Do you think that behind the scenes there is something going on that the athletic department is working to get an extension done right now?
I would be shocked if they aren't having conversations. And so, I mean, especially with the bye week last week, like I know that there was obviously a lot of preparation that was going into this final month of the season. And just with the whole Zollers thing at quarterback now, you want to spend some extra time to make sure that he's ready. But I mean, last week would have been the perfect week to maybe start those discussions, or at least maybe step on the gas a little bit when it comes to those discussions, especially with all of these openings that have been coming open this season. So I think I would be surprised if they haven't had even preliminary discussions at the absolute earliest.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I've heard anything super concrete, but I would be shocked if they aren't talking.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're Eli, Laird, I mean, I got to get paid more than Belichick. That guy's making over $1 million more per year than me. Come on.
By the way,
let's be real here. I got to at least get more than him. Even if it's $1 more, I better get paid more than Belichick.
will you be in Como this weekend?
Of course I'll be there. I live here.
Okay. Friday night and Saturday tailgate. Invite is open to you. I will be there with a large group of folk. We will have to meet up and maybe share. Well, we can have our own.
You can share a beer if you want
we could
to.
share a beer, but that
That's
seems
weird.
Seems weird. We
Especially
could
for first meeting and everything.
Yeah, that'd be a
so.
little weird. I mean, we could have 2 cups.
That's a good
and
point.
share it. But
Yeah, true.
offers open. I'll be hitting you up just so you know. I might have to see you at Booch's or something.
Hey, you guys got my number, so just let me know, and I'll make sure to finally come connect some voices with some faces.
By the way, I
know fully who I'm talking to all the time.
I do know, full transparency, I am going as a fan, not as a media member, which means
less drinking for you now that you're a fan instead of a media member. So that makes sense.
You might see a loud outfit or something along the lines of that, but
loud. You'll be wearing your Mizzou belt. Let's be honest.
Mizzou belt's a lot.
Mizzou
That
belt
thing's
will be
been
there.
here for 15 years.
Yes.
It's not. It's on its last
Yes.
leg, but it's still there.
Cody Goodwin
The
was
weather's supposed to be nice. You
Yes.
can probably rock some of those overalls, like where you see kind of the people in the front row who are wearing the overalls and no shirt on underneath because the sun's out. Like I think you need to roll with that.
So I was considering that. The issue is I don't have that. What I will be having is a old school. If you see a guy in like a 1980s, maybe 70s, but probably 80s vintage corduroy Mizzou jacket, that'll be this guy. It's it's a blackout.
Yeah.
It's a blackout,
He'll
not
be
just
the-
for the drinking.
He'll
but
be
for
the one
the
wearing
clothes.
that.
I'll be wearing all black
Cody.
on Saturday.
Yeah, he'll be the one wearing he'll be the one in the Mizzou gear. So look for him. He'll be out there. Last one for you, Cody. I brought this up earlier this week with one of our college football guests, and you mentioned the alignment from top to bottom at the university with Eli, and I'm wondering, not knowing what the latest is going to be, let's say at LSU with the governor and the board that's going to be trying to find the next guy, the AD, all of that stuff, and not knowing what the support would be, let's say in Florida for Gainesville, where the state, when you talk about alignment at the university, the state has been there too. Like the legislation that's been passed, they have been on the forefront of NIL with high school kids and things that they think will help the Missouri football program. I don't know what the next 4 or 5 years may bring, Cody, and it may be something to where it's an even playing field and it doesn't matter that they, pass legislation at this point. But I would say, doesn't it at least give Eli confidence that if something comes about in 4 or 5 years and he's still the Mizzou head coach, the legislation at least has proven they have done what they feel like would benefit the Missouri Tigers in the landscape of college football?
Oh, 100%. I think Eli's done a really good job of sinking his teeth in and really forming those relationships, whether it's at the Capitol, whether it's, through various boosters and donors and NIL stuff. And he's done a really good job of just kind of reaching everywhere and making sure that his hand is everywhere and developing those relationships so that when he needs something, he's able to raise his hand or make a phone call and instantly he gets what he needs. And so I think that's an important thing to remember as the coaching searches and the coaching cycle kind of starts to unfold. I think it'll probably start in earnest once the regular season gets over. So once we get to December and we start seeing people move and we start seeing jobs get filled and the trickle-down effects from those decisions, I think that's an important thing to remember as we consider what Drink might do, what he's maybe thinking or feeling. And if you're Mizzou, I think that's absolutely a selling point when you're trying to retain a guy like this.
Cody Goodwin, PowerMizzou.com. Cody, appreciate the – actually, you know what? Last one. Who do you think wins, Missouri or A&M? Who do you got?
Man, I'm rolling with A&M until Mizzou shows me something different. I think one of the bigger things that's interesting about this game is that Drinkwitz always talks about trying to find the winning play, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the close games that these two teams have played this year, Texas A&M is 3-0 in one-score games. Missouri is 1-2. So the Aggies continue to find those winning plays that Drinkwitz continues to preach about. And before I pick Mizzou to win a big game like this, I need them to show me that they can win a big game like this. So I think until then, I'm rolling with A&M.
We'll see what
How
happens.
dare you?
Cody Goodwin, Power Mizzou. You will have to answer
Have
to
you
Sterling.
thought about how loud the crowd's going to be? Because it's going to be electric.
Yeah, A&M. I mean, do they have any experience of playing in places where the crowd is loud and it's a big game? I don't know if they've ever done that. Cody, appreciate it, brother. Look for Sterling. He'll be the one wearing black on Saturday at the blackout. So
him and 57,000 of his closest friends. I'll make sure to keep an eye out and see if I can find him.
There you go, Cody. You're the man. Appreciate it, brother. Enjoy the game on Saturday.
Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. There's Cody Goodwin. Great stuff from him, as always. PowerMizzou.com. Go check him out there and what he's writing about the Missouri Tigers, and on Twitter as well. And the injury report that's out there that came out last night with the SEC releasing that Scooby Williams won't be there, Le'Veon Moss won't be there, but Brett Norfleet is questionable with that shoulder injury as well. I'm with him. I think A&M wins this one, and for the reason he talked about there, that Mizzou's got to make some of these winning plays in these big games with Eli as head coach. And A&M's done that. They beat Notre Dame by a point. They take care of Auburn by 6. They, survive Arkansas by 3 in a game that had, 90 points scored essentially in that matchup. So they're going to put points on the board. Missouri's going to have to answer with some points of their own. We'll take a timeout, come back, more Zone next. We continue right here on Sports Radio 810 at WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. We head up until 2 o'clock. Sports or leisure coming up at the top of the 1 o'clock hour.
Fact.
That's right. Thank you to Cody Goodwin, PowerMizzou.com. We'll see what they look like against the Texas A&M Aggies, the number 3 team.
They're going to look great.
We'll see. Number 3 team in the nation. There is a way to spin it in a positive light with Zollers at quarterback, because in theory, there should be a number of unscouted looks with a different type of offense with Zollers in the game as opposed to Bo Prabula. So
and Missouri's defense is electric and elite.
Yeah, but we'll see what they do against the 4th Heisman favorite.
I'm talking myself into this,
I know,
Jason.
I get it. Hey, hopefully they win. We'll see. 913-912-4810. We talked a lot of Kansas City Chiefs today. I want to play this clip. This is from New Heights. It came out yesterday. This is Travis Kelce. He's talking about, the game against the Bills, and then Jason Kelce offers a follow-up about where they are right now in something that we talked about last hour. So here's Travis Kelce from the New Heights podcast yesterday, weighing in on the Bills' loss and sitting 5-4 at the bye.
I feel good about it because I know the characters that we have in the room. I know the guys that we have there, and we're going to come back recharged and ready to rock and roll. And I can't say that I'm not frustrated more from the entire start of the season than just this Bills game. I mean, there's games that I don't think we had any business losing. I feel like we didn't come out with our best punch against Buffalo, and we got to find a way to clean all that up, man. We got to get back to playing passionate Chiefs football, dying for each other out there on the field, man, and whatever that takes during the week to get yourself ready on Sundays, man. Even on a short week, it doesn't matter. No excuses. We got a few games ahead of us where we're going to be where we're going to have short weeks. I think there's a stint around Christmas where we have like back-to-back short weeks.
Do you guys think at all about home field advantage in the playoffs or any of that stuff, or you just want to get 1 week at a time?
At this point, it's got to be 1 week at a time. You can't be thinking about trying to get home field this, home field that. Obviously, you set goals out in the beginning of the season to win the division, win the conference, get that home field advantage, make everyone have to come through Arrowhead. But right now, it's just not that. And I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about how the are we going to beat the Denver Broncos? That's going to be on my mind for the next 2 weeks.
So the last part, sounds good. That we're not thinking about home field advantage. We're not thinking about anything like that. You set goals, certainly, and you want to accomplish those, but I'm thinking about the next, however long. He said 2 weeks, but you get it, the bye, of how the bleep are we going to beat, the Denver Broncos. And that's what a lot of people are going to be thinking about around Kansas City. This Bills game, it's been the same commentary that, every year we talk about this game, they win in the regular season, then they make the adjustments and they win in the postseason. But this one obviously different because they went into the game 5-3. They don't have the luxury of, you lost that game, whatever. What are you going to do? They were undefeated last year. And, what you're walking into. You know you're heading to Buffalo. You know what the fan base is like. You know what the Buffalo Bills team is like. You know how good they are. Mm-hmm. You know that it's typically a back-and-forth matchup. And again, we talked about this on Monday, Sterling, and I gave the out and the grace for a player that said we didn't match the energy, that it could be as simple as if I say we got outplayed or we didn't do this or we didn't expect that, then it's on the coaches. If I say we didn't match the energy, then it's on us. And the coaches put us in the position to succeed, but I need to take ownership for what we did as a team. So offering that, but we hear yet another person, Travis Kelce said that we didn't come out with our best punch. We've got to get back to playing passionate Chiefs football. And again, we talked about it on Monday. It's 5 weeks now. We've heard somebody or multiple people on the team say, we just didn't have it like the other team did early in that game. And 5 weeks including the week in the preseason that they didn't have it against the Seahawks.
Games,
yeah, but 4, let's just call it that. Who cares about the game against the Seahawks? 4 regular season games that we've heard players say, we just didn't match We got to match what the other team is doing. We got to bring the energy. We got to start fast. We got to come out and ready to punch a team in the mouth. And we didn't come out with our best punch, and we got to get back to playing passionate Chiefs football, is Travis Kelce. And that's off a game going into Buffalo, where you've got to be like overly passionate if you're going to win that game. Like, you can't mess around even at all. And it's not a team-wide thing. There were plenty of people that played, with passion or whatever. But he's talking about from a team standpoint. And again, maybe it's just it's on us. We've got to do this, this, and this. And if we get back to playing our brand of, maybe he doesn't even have to say passionate, but our brand. But it's the fact that he did say passionate that sticks out to me. If he just said, we got to get back to our brand of Chiefs football, playing that, and we're going to be fine. But we got to get back to playing passionate Chiefs football. It continues to be frustrating that we're 9 games in and we've heard this multiple times now.
And I get it. A lot of guys are probably tired, and Travis would be one of the guys who's been here a long time at his age. And you're seeing the toll potentially of the amount of playoff games they've played versus every other team. The fact that their offseason is shorter than every other team consistently over the past 8 years. I mean, this is what you have to deal with. It's the price of winning. Is you're going to be tired. You will have the mental and physical toll that other teams don't have. But the point still remains, there's 17 regular season games to get up for that matter. And again, this year more than others. Last year we talked about it. You go 15-2. Realistically speaking, a couple of those games didn't quite matter as much. And I think we saw them potentially sleepwalk through some. This year, when you're 5-4, you were 5-3 heading into this game, and you knew what was at stake. You know that you've already lost a tiebreaker to a team around you in the Chargers, a team around you in the Jags, where you won't have a chance to make that up. You think you would have the energy against the Bills, knowing a bye week is coming up for a chance of rest. Again, is it a cop-out? Maybe, but I still hate hearing that. You got to get this figured out. You got to start quicker. We understand the defense is going to start slow. Every game, they're going to basically give the other team a touchdown advantage and then buckle down. That's what they've done. But offensively, you have the first 15. You have Patrick Mahomes and all these. You have Travis Kelce leading all tight ends in receiving yards. You have all this stuff. You have Worthy back. You have Rice back. When is the consistency? And we've seen a couple of glimpses against bad teams, but the Bills, that's why I said this is a chance to make a statement against a very good AFC team. They made a statement that maybe you look back and say, you did great against 3 bad teams. What do you do when a playoff team comes to town?
It just, I do think there's a level of helping yourself after the loss feel better about it when it's oh, cool, enjoy your Super Bowl, Buffalo. Hey, hang the banner, Buffalo. This is what they do. I understand that aspect of it, and my immediate reaction was to say that as well. I didn't tweet it, but it was to be like, oh, cool, Buffalo, congrats again on winning the regular season matchup that isn't the elimination game. Something along those lines, which is, obviously a level of coping that goes along with that. And so, but it does get frustrating when it's like, every year we're talking about the same thing.
Oh, by the way, you know why? I think you and I didn't do that, and a lot of Chiefs fans didn't do the whole congrats on your Super Bowl, because Bills fans weren't celebrating after that game. Bills fans, a lot have learned.
I think somewhere.
Somewhere, but I think the majority of ones that I saw were saying, good game, hope to see you in the playoffs, and hopefully it's different this time around. Because the majority of the Bills fans that I had interactions with, almost all were saying, we understand it doesn't mean anything. It's great for regular season and playoff seeding, but they're starting to wise up to the fact of, hey, we can't talk smack when it's not in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, we can't do it in the playoffs. Although there was what was going to be my third funniest on Monday. I only used 2, so I used mixed funniest. Nobody else was missing, so I couldn't use a third funniest. My third funniest would have been the Buffalo Bills reporter that tweeted out, it's so arrogant of these Chiefs fans to say, oh, congratulations on your Super Bowl when they lose a game. And then somebody retweeted that and said, it's one of those, this you. And it was him earlier when Stephon Diggs was doing what Stephon Diggs was with the Patriots. And he replied, or he tweeted and said, the Bills don't lose often, but when they do, it always seems to be other teams' Super Bowls. Hold on. That's the Patriots. The Patriots Super Bowls are actual Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Okay? That's their actual Super Bowls. Chiefs Super Bowls are actual Super Bowls that they play in. But I just that was going to be one of my funniest of like, oh, they're so arrogant saying congratulations on the Super Bowl, like blah 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 blah. You know, I there is a level of like being annoyed and just saying, what if this will help me? Like, I don't care. It doesn't matter because they beat them in the playoffs. Maybe they will again this year. Maybe they won't beat them in the playoffs. Maybe a ball bounces one way or another and the Bills win that particular game. And all of the ghosts are sort of exorcised from Josh Allen in the playoffs. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully this is not the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady that people are trying to make it out to be, because again, Manning was 3-2 against Tom Brady in the postseason. Hopefully this is just flat out postseason dominance that Josh Allen is Reggie Miller or Patrick Ewing or anybody else when they went up against Jordan in the playoffs outside of the returning year, but went up against Jordan in the playoffs, and it was like, well, you just aren't going to get past that guy. You're just not going to beat him. It's not going to happen. Hopefully that's the case. We'll see. Chiefs have the team to do it. The way they played on Sunday, they clearly can get beat by that Buffalo Bills team that has a suspect defense against one of the best offenses playing at a high level in the Chiefs, and they limit them all game long to where it just felt like very 2023, 2024 offense for the Chiefs. More 2024 offense for the Chiefs. And that was frustrating to think about that throughout the bye week. But 8 games left. I think 8 weeks you should bring passion.
Yeah.
You should bring the energy for the next 8 games, especially in Denver, because the Broncos whooped you up last year in Week 18 and acted like that was an actual win. And then in the playoffs, Sean Payton, after getting beat, said, we really liked the matchup if we would have got past this game, which would have been against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So the Broncos feel like they are better than you. You got lucky by blocking the field goal. You had a few players that were out. We still beat you 38-0. You're lucky we lost in the playoffs, which is so dumb, by the way.
Yeah.
That because we would have beat you. You didn't even beat the team in front of you. You know? You almost had
like the
me.
Bills when
you
they
never
said-
even had your car.
Was it Deion Dawkins or someone on the Bills when they lost to the Eagles and they said that they would have given a better matchup?
It was Deion
or better
Dawkins
game?
that
And
said,
you're
well,
like,
if they were going to play like that, we might as well be there because we would have performed better. I don't know. You
had
never
a
know.
chance. I mean, who would have known? But maybe
Win the game.
beat that team. It's not like there was a way to tell who would have got to the Super Bowl. It's not like those two teams
never had a
faced
chance.
off in the playoffs
Never had a chance
to figure that one out.
Yeah, but I promise you, Denver,
It's too busy drifting.
Well, they didn't have a chance. It was all rigged, remember?
it was. That's true. Denver tonight against the Raiders will have that mini bye. Chiefs have the full bye, but they will be viewing that game as a playoff game. I think Denver will approach that game.
Both teams should.
I agree. I know of one team that will be doing that, though. I'm positive that one team in Denver, at least next Sunday, will be approaching that game like this is a playoff game. I'm not sure that both teams will, but both teams should. And that goes a little bit to the game plan against the Bills, how they play regular season, is their arrogance that goes along with that with the coaching staff, because there can't be arrogance next Sunday. There's no, let's hold the good plays for later. No, go win the game. You need to win the final 8 games, win the division, get a home game, and let the chips fall where they may. We'll take a timeout, come back. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll play some sports or leisure coming up at 1 o'clock. Jason Anderson, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. Thank you to Matt Lane joining us in the 11 o'clock hour. KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. And also Cody Goodwin joined us earlier this hour, breaking down the Mizzou and A&M matchup. We got some sports or leisure coming up on the other side of the break, 913-381-810. We talked in the first hour where this Chiefs team is compared to where we thought they would be. And Matt Lane saying, that they're about what they thought they would look like. They are about.
And we
what
let them off the hook.
That's right. The Chiefs are right around what he thought they would look like, and I think there's an element of that being sort of the consensus, just not the record. Like I feel like the Chiefs have looked like what I expected them to look like. Offensive line has had some inconsistencies. The offense has been better and looks closer to 2022. Mahomes has played brilliantly in a lot of these games. Spags has been in his bag a good portion of these games. But they're 5-4.
I think, again, the defensive line being as bad as it's been has been the major reason why they are 5-4. Because you will have inconsistencies defensively like we've seen when you get no pressure with 4. It leaves you open when you have to send 5 and 6 guys to get any sort of pressure on quarterbacks. To me, that's what it comes down to, is this D-line is the main reason why they're 5-4 and not 7-2.
By the way, shout out Rico Dowdle. Got fined for the 2 pumps. Set up a GoFundMe. Ha! The GoFundMe is going to go to charity, but it was a joke at first. Now it is a GoFundMe for charity.
You're into sports, but nothing wrong with a little leisure time. Why not both?
You're going to have a heart attack by the time you're 40 if you don't learn to relax.
It's time for sports or leisure on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
913-381-0810, playing a little sports or leisure. 913-381-0810, sports or leisure on a Thursday. One more hour to go here in the show. Coming up at 2 o'clock, so we're in Petro, the program, and then Raiders, Broncos.
Don't they hold up a 4?
The program?
Yeah. So what if we just held up like a 1?
Well, this would be 4 for, they can hold up a 1.
Because we have
starting
1
at
hour
2.
left.
Oh, yeah, we go backwards.
Yeah.
Okay, so we bring the
You get
passion.
what I'm
in-
saying, yeah.
So what we do is we bring the passion in hour 4 the way that you should in hour 1.
Yes, correct.
So we're going to match. What we have to do for hour 4 is match the energy level of Seren and Curtis for hour 1.
Oh, it's going to be electric right now.
Yeah,
Let's go.
We got to match the energy level. We got to, you know what we got to do? We got to get back to playing passionate zone sports talk. That's what we got to get back to doing. We do that,
Man
we'll
to
be
man.
fine. We'll be
You're in
fine.
the man-to-man.
No, I thought it was zone. Are we not playing zone anymore? We not in the
Box and 1.
We're not in the trust tree? Are we not? It's a triangle and 2. It's what we're doing. All right, 913-381-0810 is the phone number. Sports or leisure. We play for $25. We give away to Johnny's Tavern. If you get a sports question and a leisure question right, you win. Either of them wrong, you lose. But the question is out there available for someone to call in and request if you know the answer to it, or...
We run out of time.
Yeah. We give out the answer when we run out of time or it's answered correctly.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got other ways of knowing the answer. I have no idea. I'm just saying it's out there. You can call in and request it to get that part of the sports and or leisure correct. 913-381-0810. Let's go through the categories here. 913-381-0810. Categories are Gold Gloves with Bobert and Michael winning the Gold Glove. We have Royals Gold Gloves category.
Okay.
And we have NFL questions.
Nice.
Questions that involve
The
NF
National Football
That's
League.
Yep, you got it. You got it. That's correct. What about on the leisure side, Sterling?
We have Sing Me a Song, You're the Piano Man, which is Finish the Lyrics. So
Okay.
I will give you
Oh,
some
wow.
lyrics.
So they actually have to sing it.
And you have to finish the song. I have Name That Movie, more in the Name That Movie category, because apparently people enjoyed that one, and I did too.
I liked it.
And then the third one we'll have is riddles, because riddles need to be there, because riddles are fun.
You know what?
The Riddler.
They're pretty good. All right, 913-381-0810. I'm ready to go. Sterling, you ready to play?
Fact.
Okay, very good. Maybe not. Michael, you good to go?
I'm ready to go.
Look at this, man. He's still bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, loving sports or leisure. 2 more weeks, and he's going to hate it. Just 2 more times playing sports or leisure. That's what I give him. Over, under 1.5. 2.5. Over, under 2.5 weeks before he's hating
Take the under.
Over. I believe in that bushy tail.
Well done. 913-381-0810. Let's go to the phone lines, and we start with Avery leading us off here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Avery, sports or leisure, what side would you like to start with?
I'll start with Name That Movie.
All right.
Get yourself a layup here.
There's only 2 things I can't stand in this world. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch.
Gold member.
That is gold
Yeah.
member. Wow.
Gold.
I was just going to take Austin Powers, any of the movies, but you even got gold member. Congratulations.
You were going to take any of the Austin Powers movies?
I would have. I mean, if you would have
okay.
said it's Nigel Powers, I'd have been like, yeah, okay, he knows who it is.
All right, on to the sports side. We got Gold Gloves. We got NFL.
Ooh, Gold Glove winners.
Okay, very good. Before this year, who were the last pair of teammates for the Royals to win a Gold Glove on the infield? Before this year,
Was it Escobar and Hosmer?
Before this year, name every single infielder that has ever won a gold. Yes, it was Alcides and Hosmer in 2015 won the Golden Gloves that particular year. That is correct. This is the first time they've had winners on either side of the infield. That would have been cool if they had that, but no, they did not have that. Avery, we'll put you on hold, get your information. Congratulations, sir. Well done. That was easy.
Super duper.
Yep, that's right.
When Avery leads off, it just sets it up to make it seem like what an easy game. And everyone knows that we are hard asses on this game.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Like, what's great about when he leads off is that he doesn't get an easy question that's already out there.
Yeah. I thought the Austin Powers one was one of the harder movie questions.
Is that right? Okay. Like I said,
so.
take hit your bunnies. Take the movie quotes and hit your layups. Tim next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Tim, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Wow, I've never hit second. I'll take the Gold Glove's tempting, but I like the previous Gold Glove question Avery got. So I'll go with movies.
She gets a special cologne. It's called Sex Panther. It's illegal in 9 countries. Yep, it's made with bits of real panther.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
So you know it's good.
Anchorman.
Yeah, Anchorman.
That's right.
It's made with real bits of panther, so you know it's good. 60% of the time.
It works 60% of the
works.
time, yeah.
Every
100.
time.
Yes, that's right.
Every time.
All right, over to the sports side, we've got Gold Gloves and we've got NFL.
Let's go Gold Gloves.
All right.
So, by the way, Kansas City folk crushed that movie. Paul Rudd, it was in that movie. That
was great.
David Koechner, I want to slather in barbecue sauce and
whammy! Whammy! All right, Gold Glove for you. Who was the first back-to-back Gold Glove winner for the Royals in their history? Since Bobby has now won back-to-back. First Royal to win back-to-back.
Well, I'm guessing it was in the 70s.
Gold Gloves.
Who's older, Frank or George? Gosh darn, I guess. Or am I way off the beaten path?
I don't know.
Let's see. It's got to be the guy in the news a lot lately, but maybe not. No clues here.
well, if you give it a
Nope,
clue,
we're
it'll give it away too easily.
Yeah. We may be more hard asses today.
On the
Think
Gold
there's a
Gloves,
chance.
I think we have to.
I think there's a chance. A bye-week sports or leisure, we may we may not be able to match the energy level of previous sports or leisures when it comes to extra guesses and
Very
and
few
today.
hints on this one. I'm sorry, but if we give it
It's a tough
any
one.
hints, it gives it away.
You want to throw a
I
dart?
guess got to go with Frank White.
Frank is close. He was the second one to do that, but
Yeah.
not the first one. Tim, thank you for playing, man.
bummer.
Appreciate it as always,
Thanks,
brother.
guys.
Yes, sir.
We still like you,
913-38.
Tim.
Yeah,
we still like
absolutely.
you, Tim, a lot. I
Right.
appreciate you.
I don't care what Michael says about you. We
Whoa.
we like it. I don't know what it is. John, next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. John, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with, brother?
Well, unless that's a different Tim. I've followed Tim 3 different
You
times.
have, John.
Well, you
you
know what?
are the same, too.
And I hate to say it, I got to take the layup. I hate to do this, Tim.
Movie or Gold Glove layup? Which layup are you looking for?
The Gold Glove.
Yeah.
Gold Glove.
Yeah, who was the first one?
Amos Otis.
Yep, AO. The first ever Gold Glove winner, but he did skip a year before he got back-to-back. So it was actually his third Gold Glove that gave
3
him
and 4.
back-to-back. Yeah, that's right, 3 out of 4. And then Frank went back-to-back in 77 and
Kind of like
78.
Chiefs and Super Bowls. A lot of
That's
times,
it.
3 to 4.
They do
It
win.
ain't bad.
Amos Otis, 73-74, back-to-back winner. On to leisure with Sterling.
Riddles, name that movie, or sing me a song, You're the Piano Man, which is finish the lyric.
We'll have to do movies.
We will do movies. This one makes me laugh. She gave me a bunch of crap about not listening to her or something. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.
Oh gosh.
It's a no nice Thursday today.
Yeah. Oh goodness. I mean, these are all comedies. I know that.
It is funny. It is a comedy.
That's true.
We've done this movie before, but I like this movie, so we're doing different. Again, for those listening, it can be the same movie as other movies, but different quotes.
Oh, okay. So you're just going to use.
I do stuff that makes me laugh.
Because you've seen 4 movies. That makes sense.
5.
Okay.
But I read the book.
like, okay, it won't be like the burgundy one. It's not that. It's not Austin Powers because we use that.
Yep.
So I'll go with Dumb and Dumber, something like that.
Yeah, nailed it. Yeah,
Nice job.
last week was pullover. It's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, she gave me a bunch of crap about me not listening to her or something. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.
Let me some Dear John letter. You know. Tic-tac, sir. John, we'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
What a
913-381-1010.
poll, by the way, by John. Dumb and Dumber or something. He knows me too well. John, I feel like, he knows the inner workings of my cranium.
Random guess.
Terrifying place, but
total random guess it had to be. Let's go to the phone lines, 913-381-1010. Nick, next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Nick, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
We'll start with sports.
All right, we got Gold Gloves and we have NFL.
Do NFL.
All right, this happened over the weekend. Actually, you know what? This happened Monday night. And it stands out because I had this man with 6 or more receptions. But Trey McBride now has 10 straight games with 5 or more receptions. He just didn't have the more part on Monday. What are you going to do? You would think a guy that has 5 receptions every single game maybe will pick up one more than that. But anyway, 10 straight games, 5 or more receptions for Trey McBride. He's the 3rd tight end to ever have 10 or more straight games with 5 receptions in each game. The 3rd tight end.
So you say name 1 or 2?
We'll find out. If you can't name 1, then you got to name 1. If you name 1 pretty easy, maybe we name 2. I don't know. Let's play.
I was wondering that as well. He seemed very
vague. It was vague.
Wasn't even a question. He more made a statement.
Yeah, that's right. It's a statement. True. Nailed it. He's the 3rd tight end?
Tony Gonzalez, maybe?
Tony's the first one to do it. How about that? Huh? Can you name the other one? Since I said Tony was the first one.
Same city and go with Kelsey?
Kelsey's right. It's Gonzalez and Kelsey and Trey McBride. Well done. Tony Gonzalez, Travis Kelsey, and now
it was actually a different
Trey.
chief. It was James O'Shaughnessy.
Yes. Tony, Travis, and Trey. So if you're going to have 10 or more games with 5+ receptions, your name has to start with a T.
It was actually Tony Moeaki.
That's exactly right.
Tony
Yes.
Moeaki was who we were looking for.
Shocker that he had that particular year. Those Iowa tight ends, though, he started the whole thing, or Dallas Clark did. Whatever. Who cares who started it? On to leisure with Sterling.
Riddles, name that movie or finish the lyric.
Name that movie.
All right. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more to life than being really, really, really ridiculously good looking, and I plan on finding out what that is.
Oh, boy.
What is this, a school for ants?
Who hasn't died from a tragic gasoline fight accident?
Oh, it sounds like a Will Ferrell.
I do the jitterbug. I do the jitterbug. That would be the scene of the gasoline fight. Tragic.
Yeah. Very tragic.
Tragic ending after
Very
that.
tragic.
Orange mocha frappuccinos.
It's a walk-off. That's why whenever I say it's a walk-off, it's actually from this movie.
Yep, I think we're done with the hints, though.
Yeah, we have to be.
No Nice Thursday.
You were, I'll give you that. You were on the right track since you said it. Will Ferrell is in this movie.
That is true.
Yeah. He is in the movie.
I mean, he invented the piano necktie. So, I mean, the guy invented the piano necktie.
Stiller one. Zoolander.
Yeah, Zoolander.
He invented the piano necktie.
Right before the buzzer. I used to have a shirt that said,
I invented the piano
No, for kids who can't read good and want to learn how to do other stuff's good too.
What is this, a school for ants?
Yeah.
It has to be at least 10 times that size. No, he's right. All right, we'll put you on hold, Nick. Congratulations, well done. It's just that easy.
It's a walk-off.
It is. It's in the computer.
Great.
Really enjoyed the movie. Really enjoyed the movie.
Really dumb movie, but good movie.
Yeah, well, that's fine. That's my sort of humor.
Yeah.
All right, Dumb and Dumber, Zoolander.
I now see where I get it from, by the way. I've been watching Trailer Park Boys. Anyone ever watched Trailer Park Boys? One of the dumbest shows you'll ever see in your life. And my mom and I were watching it, and my mom really likes the show. And now I'm just like, this makes so much sense of where I got my humor from. My mom likes Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, the book is better. 913-381-0810. Let's go to Shane next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Shane, what side would you like to start with?
Start with sports, please.
All right, we got NFL, we got Gold Gloves.
Oh, Gold Gloves, please.
All right, Frank White and Alex Gordon both have 8 Gold Gloves in their career. The next 2 in line in Royals history have 5 and 4 Gold Gloves. Who
With the
are
team?
Yes.
Okay.
Royals specific Gold Gloves.
One
of these players. Well, I'm not going. No hint. It's a no hint. That's right. Thank you, Sterling. It's a no nice Thursday.
Hard-ass Thursday.
It's a hard-ass Thursday, man.
I know my favorite Royal of all time has 5. That'd be Salvador Perez.
Salvi's got himself 5.
And I think the other one that comes to mind, I think played with Salvi, but I know there's no hints, so I'm not fishing here. But I think, I'm trying to think who else got a lot of Gold Gloves with the Royals. And I'm going to go with my gut, I think. I'm thinking it's Eric Hosmer.
See, that's why you
Right?
trust your gut. That's why you trust your gut. Hosmer with 4. Salvi got himself 5. That is correct.
I'm surprised Hosmer had 4.
Are you? You just didn't think he was a good defender?
No, I did. I thought he would have had 2. Good for him. Good for Haas.
Yeah, well, he's twice the Gold Glove player than you thought he was.
Yes, he is.
Turns out.
Good for Haas. He was all right. No, he's good. I would have assumed 2.
Yeah, you just turns out you thought he was an underrated player. He only has 2 Gold Gloves. Very underrated. He should have 4.
I feel
he
like
does.
first basemen, a lot of time, they rotate. They're like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has one, right? And he had a hole in his glove against the Royals that one time.
I don't know. 8th inning of Game 1 against the Mets. Maybe he doesn't have a Gold Glove. I'm not sure. In the World Series, whatever. All right, over to Leisure with Sterling.
Sterling, I'd like was it movie quotes? Is that what we're doing now?
Yeah, we are doing movie quotes.
Sure.
All right.
Okay. I came here to do 2 things. Drink beer and kick ass. Looks like I'm almost out of beer.
I'm trying to think of the actor's name. I wish I could remember that, but I know it's from Dazed and Confused. Is that Ben Affleck? No, who said that?
That wasn't Ben Affleck, but yeah, it was like not the throwaway character, but kind of a very, very minor character in that one when he's fighting the blonde guy.
Yeah. Somebody smoking the reefer.
Affleck was the guy that was chasing all the freshmen.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
With the paddle that had a word on there that if you pronounced it, but it wasn't actually a word.
What was the word?
Well, I can spell it.
Can you spell it?
Yeah, it was FAH-Q. That's not a bad word. It's not a bad word at all. So if I spelled the actual or whatever word, that would not be good. But that's just
I love
just
that
spelling
movie.
the word.
One of my favorite movies of all time is
phenomenal.
And by the way, again, it's a football movie.
I agree with that.
It's a football movie because what's the whole premise of the movie?
Getting him
Dazed
to
and
sign
Confused
that
is to
contract.
sign his pledge to not drink and booze and smoking the marijuana cigarettes for the team.
Somebody's smoking the reefer.
Yeah.
Shane, we'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. 913-381-0810. Contestant falls off. Open line, 913-381-0810. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling more zone, more sports or leisure, presented by Johnny's Tavern. 10 locations, including Lawrence and Topeka. Lawrence location last night where you heard the Lance Leipold Coaches Show right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. More sports or leisure next.
You're in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
The world's largest barbecue competition returns to the Kansas Speedway, November 7th and 8th. The barbecue kicks off Friday evening with the American Royal Pit Party. Then on Saturday, bring your family and join us for the Backyard Barbecue Party on Pit Road. Enjoy vendors, food trucks, and life-size yard games, barbecue sauce wrestling, bobbing and baked beans, and the barbecue garden. For more information or to purchase your tickets, go to AmericanRoyal.com. This is one event you will not want to miss.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Holy cow, you've done it!
All right, hanging out here on this Thursday edition of The Zone. Heading up until 2 o'clock tonight, Raiders Broncos on Sports Radio 810 WHB, your home of everything that's really cool. Should be the tagline. Should be.
Bleeping great.
That's right. All right, let's reset here. Sports or Leisure, presented by Johnny's Tavern. $25 we give away to Johnny's Tavern. 10 area locations, including Lawrence and Topeka. The categories that we have for today on the sports side, we've got Gold Glove, and we have NFL questions. Plenty of Gold Glove questions left, and lots of NFL questions remaining on a No Nice Thursday. We're not giving away hints or extra chances. Oh my goodness, what are we doing here? This is Mick Schaefer's dream.
Yeah,
and he ain't even in the country, so take that. What about on the leisure side? What are the categories, Sterling?
Riddles. Name that movie and finish the lyric.
Okay, so name that movie. You need no hints or extra tries. That is a layup.
The rule.
Just simply hit your layups, and you're fine. 913-381-0810. We go to Brian next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Brian, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Let's start with sports.
All right, we got Gold Gloves and we got NFL.
Let's go Gold Gloves.
Gold Gloves, okay. Before Bobby Witt, the Royals only had one shortstop win a Gold Glove. Who was it? This is a layup as well. Well, I shouldn't say it's a layup.
Is it Esky? Is it Esky?
It is Escobar. The reason I said it was a layup is because we had Esky and Hosmer as an answer earlier. So if you were listening earlier, it would have been a layup. But
shocked that Unieski Betancourt did not get a Gold Glove.
Right?
Shocked.
I was looking for Nefi Perez.
Perez.
That's we went the same route, Brian. I was looking for Nefi Perez. Where was he? How does he not win one? I don't get it. Over to leisure with Sterling.
Let's try finish the song lyric.
Finish the song lyric. Okay.
Sterling's going to sing it, and then you have to sing it.
This is Back in Black by AC/DC. Back in the back of a Cadillac, number one with a bullet. I'm a power pack. Yes, I'm in a bang. Blank, blank, blank.
I'm in a with a gang.
With a gang.
They if they want me to hang.
That is true. Those are all facts. Good job. You nailed it.
Nice job.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yep, you didn't sound anything like him, though. I'll tell you that, Brian.
Well, his name's Brian, and he got a Brian Johnson question. Because Bon Scott, he passed away before that album. That was the first album with Brian Johnson, so Brian got a Brian question.
Were you named after Brian Johnson, Brian?
No, but I am going to go see him in St. Louis next year.
Hell yeah. Hey, Brian, we can go together, and we can take our $25 Johnny's gift card and get some food beforehand?
Yeah, on your way before leaving. Yeah, that's a good idea. You should yell out, "My name's Brian, too. We're both named Brian. Let me get backstage." Random.
It might work.
First person that's ever told you your name, Brian. All right, we'll put you on hold. Congratulations. Now you get to hang out with Michael. So, that's cool, too. All right, 913-381-0810. Another winner on a no-hint Thursday. Did not give him a hint about Escobar. Just said, I thought it was a layup. That's not a hint. And he's named after Brian Johnson. What are the odds of that? What are the odds? It's better than being named after the Bee Gees, am I right? Greg next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Greg, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I will start with sports.
All right, we got Gold Gloves, and we have NFL.
I'll go NFL.
All right. Myles Garrett recorded 5 sacks against the Patriots in a game that they lost. Can you tell me the last player to record at least 5 sacks in a game that his team lost?
Well, I got one bolt in the chamber. Derek Thomas?
That is correct. Derek Thomas, 7 against Seattle. When, damn it, Greg,
right?
we both know Dave Craig was in the grasp. All right, the rule that year was if the defensive player had a hold of the quarterback for the quarterback's safety, they blew it dead. Derek Thomas had him, and then as Craig whipped around, Derek Thomas fell off, but he was in the grasp. It should have been an 8 sack, and they would have won the game.
To Paul Scansy, I was at that game.
Yeah, I am so tired of the officials screwing over the Chiefs in their history. It goes all the way back to that game as well. You were there?
Yes, I was there.
That's pretty awesome, man. Rough ending with that touchdown pass, but pretty awesome day for Derek Thomas. That is the sports. Now over to leisure with Sterling.
All right, Sterling. Categories again.
Finish the lyric. Name that movie and riddles.
How about finish the lyric?
All right, finish the lyric. This is Hot Blooded by Foreigner. You know that song?
I do know that song.
Okay. And I guess it's just the woman in you that brings out the man in me. I know that I can't help myself. I know it's hard to hear over Jason's.
What are you talking about?
I'm hot-blooded. Check it and see.
No, that's not it. I'll give it again because Jason makes it difficult.
What are you talking about?
And I guess it's just the woman in you.
That was actually the first name of the show. We decided to go with The Zone, not Jason Makes It Difficult.
And I guess it's just the woman in you that brings out the man in me. I know that I can't help myself.
Oh. Yeah. Hot-blooded. Check it and see. Talking to me.
Brings out the man. Know that I can't help myself. What are you?
What are you, HR 7 stuff? Do you want to throw a dart on the lyrics?
Start singing it. You can sing it.
Sang it.
Hot-blooded. Check and see. Help myself. It's all I can see. I don't.
It's close, but not quite now.
Greg, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it, brother. Good job on the DT. Unfortunately, you were there. Well, you were awesome at that game, but, unfortunately, it did not end the way that it should have. But that's still cool to be at the 7-sack Derek Thomas game. That's pretty awesome, man. Let's go to T-Box next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. T-Box, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with, brother?
Hey, sorry, guys. I just got on. What's the sports side?
All good. We've got Gold Gloves and we have General NFL. And okay, so NFL.
Old NFL, yeah.
All right, the NFL for you. Okay, we got 3 questions left. Matt Stafford has 21 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions through the first 8 games of the year for the Rams. That's just the 4th quarterback in the history of the game to have 20 touchdowns or more, 2 or fewer interceptions in the first half of the season. Name any of the other 3 quarterbacks with 20 or more,
Well, I think
2 or fewer.
I assume the free space Mahomes did that because I know he had one year with almost none.
That is correct. Patrick Mahomes did it. That is true. Do you want to throw a dart as to who the 2 others were? You've already won on the sports side because I said name either of them. I was being nice on that one. Or
well,
name
I know
any of
one
them.
it wasn't. It wasn't Favre.
It was not Brett Favre.
How about Jameis Winston?
That would have been amazing if it was Jameis Winston because if he had
What was
20
the question? One more time.
Stafford 21 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So he's the 4th quarterback ever with 20 or more touchdowns and 2 or fewer interceptions in the first half of the season.
Aaron Rodgers,
and one more. So Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and one more. Aaron Rodgers did it
Drew
twice.
Brees.
Nope. Aaron Rodgers did it twice, and this player did it twice.
I mean, the obvious one would be Tom Brady, but
He's got a dog.
It is Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He's got a new dog that's an old dog. That's the same thing. And by the way, you know what all 5 of those, the 2 by Rodgers, the 2 by Brady, and the 1 by Patrick Mahomes, all have in common? You know what they all have in common, T-Box or Sterling?
They're all Hall of Famers. They didn't win Super Bowl.
Those
Rodgers
specific
only
years.
won one.
Those specific years. What
they
do they have
won the Super Bowl.
Nope.
They didn't win the Super Bowl. They may have won the Super Bowl.
They made the AFC. Rodgers is NFC.
Nope.
They made the championship game.
Though all 5 of those years, they won the MVP that year.
MVP. Oh,
So
yeah.
Matt Stafford is still trailing in MVP voting, but he's doing something that every single time somebody has done this, they've won the MVP that year. So just something to think about if you want to throw a couple of bucks down on Matt Stafford. Over to leisure with Sterling.
We have Finish the Lyric, we have Name That Movie, and we have Riddles.
What? I screw up lyrics all the time, but can you Can you go with the hot-blooded one again? I wanted to listen to it one more time.
Yeah, and by the way, it's Foreigner. I said hot blood. It feels like the first time. That's on me.
Feels like the first time.
But
see, that's how you're supposed to do it.
So, and I guess it's just the woman in you that brings out the man in me. I know that I can't help myself.
You bring, what is it? You bring out the best in me?
No.
No. Give me a different one because I screw up lyrics all the time.
You're good.
I will do a lyric, another rock.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, I love that. I screw it up all the time, but let me challenge myself.
Yeah. We'll do Hold On Loosely by 38 Special.
Mm-hmm.
Just hold on loosely, but don't let go.
Not a chance.
If you cling too tightly, you're gonna.
Oh, yeah.
Lose control.
Nailed it. Nice job,
There you
dude.
go.
Well done. T-Box, we'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, sir.
I love Petro, too.
Oh, how about that? He loves Petro. Lebo, we're all lovers around here.
I do.
T-Box will put you on
I do
hold.
too.
You are the man. 913-381-810 is the phone number. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling. We will have time for one more segment of Sports or Leisure. 913-381-810. Contestant falls off the line. Line opens up. 913-381-810. Giving away $25 to Johnny's Tavern. More Zone next. 913-381-0810 is the phone number. Playing some sports or leisure today, presented by Johnny's Tavern. $25 we give away to Johnny's Tavern. 10 area locations, including Lawrence and Topeka. And we will see a week from Monday what the special is with the percentage off, however many points the Chiefs score in that game against the Denver Broncos. You get that percentage off a large specialty pizza, dine-in only, at any of the Johnny's Tavern locations. 10 of them. 10 of those locations for Johnny's Tavern. Lawrence, where the Coaches Show for Lance Leipold takes place, which you heard last night right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, as they get ready for a trip to Arizona. 913-381-0810. Let's go back to the phone lines. We have a couple phone lines open, but waiting on hold is Chuck to play a little sports or leisure. Chuck, what side would you like to start with, sir?
Let's go with leisure to start, please.
Where do you want to start? Lyrics, name that movie, or riddles?
I like all three of those categories. You can pick one for me.
Oh, wow. Yep. The dealer's choice.
All right. We're doing riddles, baby.
Yeah.
I figured you were going there. I love riddles.
All right. Two fathers and two sons are in a car, yet there are only three people in the car. How?
Son, father, and grandfather. They're both a father. They're both a son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. That's
of
pretty
course.
easy. Yeah.
Of course. People
Everybody's
get
a
scared
son.
by- yeah.
Everybody's a son.
Yeah.
Right. But not everybody's a father.
Correct. Well, not
I
everyone's
nailed that,
son
by the way.
necessarily, because the other son, the grandfather, is not the son of someone else in the car.
No.
There's two sons and two fathers in the car.
But the grandfather is a son of somebody.
And all of our stars.
Right. And the grandfather is in the car.
Then who's the moon?
The grandfather is in the car,
I'll
and
show
the
you a moon.
grandfather
I'll
is,
show you a moon.
The grandfather is absolutely a son to somebody.
Debatable.
Because we are
We used
all.
to show moons in cars back in high school. It happened.
It happens.
Just high
sometimes.
school? Sterling did it last week.
I probably will the Columbia game.
So
yeah.
I was going to say, if you're driving east on I-70 on Friday, you may see Sterling and parts of him you don't want to see.
Mooning is never not funny. Mooning never is unfunny.
I mean, I don't know. That's fine. To each their own, I guess. We have on the sports side, we've got Gold Gloves, and we have General NFL.
Gold gloves, I assume, is baseball, not boxing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it is. That's true. It is Royals specific Gold Gloves. Sorry, Royals Gold Gloves.
Let's go with gold gloves.
All right. Bobby Witt Jr. with back-to-back Gold Gloves. Let's hope that it's 3 consecutive. He would join these 3 Royals that have all won at least 3 consecutive Gold Gloves.
And I got to name all 3?
Well, let's see. Let's start with 1. We'll work our way.
I mean, one would be Frank White. I assume he won, what, I think 8 total?
Yeah,
7 or 8.
so, Frank got himself a three-peat. I
Okay.
think this player had himself 2 separate three-peats.
Huh.
In fact, he had 2 separate four-peats.
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah.
4 Pete's. I think, didn't Gordo win 3 in a row?
He did. Gordo. Let's see if we can get the last one, huh?
Oh, man. Okay, so I'm assuming it's a modern player, right? If I'm thinking who is correctly.
It is not on Baroa.
Well, I mean,
Oh, my gosh.
Is
I was
it
going
not, though?
Unievsky Betancourt, but I guess I'll pivot.
I'll give you a hint. It's also not Nefi Perez.
Son of a... Okay,
Yeah.
you guys are really narrowing this down.
I know.
You were thinking Mike Jacobs. It is not.
Right? Yeah.
I was actually thinking Ken Harvey, but you guys got me there. So
I think Ken Harvey actually sometimes used a gold glove at first.
Just like legit gold glove,
I think
yeah.
that's what
Spray
he
paint.
when he was facing the right direction.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
So my gut says Salvi, but I'm not. I feel like I'm not sure they've been consecutive. So I'm trying to go through my head who else it could have been. Maybe Willie Wilson. Son of a gun. Amos Otis, maybe. Jeez. Let's go with Salvi.
Salvi is correct. Nice job. You got all 3 of them.
5 in a row, I believe. Salvi did, or
yeah.
4 in a row. I forget it was 4 or 5.
Salvi got. Yeah, Salvi didn't win in 17. He won in 18 and then 16, 15, 14, and 13. So, yeah. Or you can go the other way, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18. But, yeah, he had a four-peat as well. So every one of those guys, in fact, had a four-peat because Frank White won, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row.
Wow,
did Frank
He
White.
got robbed from 7 by Harold Reynolds, which was a terrible decision.
Yeah, I know. Harold Reynolds couldn't even beat the throw home. I mean,
My fifth-grade self was very bitter about that.
as it should be. Chuck, we'll put you on hold, get your information. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
Thanks.
Absolutely. 913-381-810. In fact, that'll do it with the minimal amount of time we have left. Don't want to get a contestant on and then have to run out of time there. Let's hear from Travis Kelce one more time. We played this in the noon hour, and Travis Kelce from New Heights yesterday, he was asked by his brother, they host a podcast together, was asked how he's feeling as they're in the bye week right now, sitting 5-4. How you feeling, little brother?
I feel good about it because I know the characters that we have in the room. I know the guys that we have there, and we're going to come back recharged and ready to rock and roll. And I can't say that I'm not frustrated more from the entire start of the season than just this Bills game. I mean, there's games that I don't think we had any business losing. I feel like we didn't come out with our best punch against Buffalo, and we got to find a way to clean all that up, man. We got to get back to playing passionate Chiefs football, dying for each other out there on the field, man, and whatever that takes during the week to get yourself ready on Sundays, man. Even on a short week, it doesn't matter. No excuses. We got a few games ahead of us where we're going to be where we're going to have short weeks. I think there's a stint around Christmas where we have like back-to-back short weeks.
Do you guys think at all about home field advantage in the playoffs or any of that stuff, or you just want to get 1 week at a time?
At this point, it's got to be 1 week at a time. You can't be thinking about trying to get home field this, home field that. Obviously, you set goals out in the beginning of the season to win the division, win the conference, get that home field advantage, make everyone have to come through Arrowhead. But right now, it's just not that. And I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about how the are we going to beat the Denver Broncos. That's going to be on my mind for the next 2 weeks.
I hope that's on everybody's mind there at Arrowhead over the next, now would be 11 days. How are you going to knock off the Denver Broncos in Denver? Denver plays tonight, so they have a mini bye. So they're off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But they play tonight at home against the Raiders, so it's kind of another mini bye for them. We'll see what the Raiders end up looking like. But, yeah, the Chiefs have 2 different short weeks left. They've got the Sunday to Thursday for Thanksgiving, and they've got the Sunday to Thursday for Christmas. So this was a Monday to Sunday. So, hey, it was a short week. Yeah, you're going to have short weeks in the NFL. You're the Chiefs. You're going to play on maybe every day of the week.
People want to see you.
Yeah, that's right. Everywhere you go, people want to know who you are. So you tell them. Did you guys ever do that chant back in Little League? Yeah. Everywhere we go. Nobody does it anymore.
Wasn't it?
I haven't heard it anymore from any.
The Tigers, wasn't it like for cereal?
Everywhere we go. Everywhere
the cereal,
we go.
Tony the Tiger.
People want to know. People
Frosted Flakes?
Yeah.
Who we are.
I think it was Tony the Tiger.
So now there's a bunch of like different chants like taco, burrito, nacho pitch.
Hate that. By the way,
foul ball USA, hit the ball the other way.
I guess it's just the woman in you that brings out the man in me. I know I can't help myself. You're all in the world to me.
No, how about that? We did not get any questions. We did not get answers to. We did not have questions with no answers. So there you go. Program up next. Enjoy it on Sports Radio 810.